All right, man. Hey, how you doing, man? How's your day? How's your
Man,
weekend?
I'm alive another day.
That's awesome, man. So I know you said you had a long day, man. You want to talk about it, or do you want to just get right into the topics?
Just that streamer kind of thing. By the way, I'm OceanrGatsby, also known as the Wave of Hype, which is my community. Born and raised New York, Washington Heights, which is predominantly Dominican. I'm Dominican, of course. My parents are from the Dominican Republic, but I was born and raised in New York during the 80s, 90s, and you know how that is. We're
Yeah.
probably the same age range. And
I think you're a few years older than me, but yeah, I was born in '87.
87. Okay, yeah, I was born 82. So.
Yeah, just a few years older than me. So yeah, my day was actually pretty good. I'm Dominator Gaming, by the way, guys. I'm a veteran. I'm active duty, 18 years in September, 10 more years to go. Spent some time in the reserve. What I do on the Army side is I spend time with soldiers. I manage their careers with schools and trying to get them to where they need to be so that way they get ready for promotion. But the other side of things is I also go around to the different units that I'm in and talk to them about suicidal awareness. The message I put out is something that's from my experiences and it's more personable, and people feel a lot more comfortable talking to somebody who's actually putting passion into behind something versus just going up there, giving the class and be like, all right, done.
That's freaking fantastic. And mainly, a lot of my people from my community are either former military or current military members. Two of my mods are both former military. They're in their 70s now. No, I'm just kidding. But, I respect it. And I know that you and I connected. I think what really connected us was Stack Up.
Yeah.
I did a big charity, even though I don't have a military background, but we did a big charity back in Mixer that was freaking fantastic. It was probably the best experience I have had in my life as a content creator was doing that charity.
Yeah,
so that's how we connected.
They're definitely a great organization. So 2 years ago and then last year, we raised money, and I think we raised a total of $13,000 for Stack Up between the 2 years. And then I've also donated myself almost $20,000 to other veterans that were running Stack Up charity streams last year to help them with their goals, because that's another thing. It's disheartening when you put all this effort into planning something, and you especially for charity, no matter what the charity is for, us putting our time and effort into planning with posters, with incentives, with the time that we put into it, the time that the viewers put into it. And so all of May last year we raised, I think, almost close to $3,000. So November and December we kind of pushed for the big 20,000, and I think we ended up raising maybe another $1,000 along with me donating with the other creators that were doing it. And it didn't matter what the platform was, whether it was Twitch, whether it was Facebook, whether it was Trovo, whatever it was. I went down there and I helped them out reach their goals, and it made their days. I got a couple shout outs, which obviously that's not what it's for, but it's nice that people recognize that stuff and they want to do something like that for you. And so it's cool. I appreciate them. The point was I was showing my appreciation for what they're doing for Stack Up, and it's a great organization. The thing about it is I know where the money's going when it comes to Stack Up, because they always give you a heads up, like, hey, your first care package went to so and so, or went to this organization, or went to this and that. And the first one we got was last year was sent to Manhattan College in New York.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so they had just opened up a new veteran center, and Manhattan College got a bunch of stuff to help set up their veteran center there for veterans to go there and chill out and relax and get away from. And then we also had a veteran father who his son has Down syndrome, and he was actually walking up the street to go play video games with his friend because they couldn't afford to get a console for him to play with his friends from home. So we ended up doing that. Speaking of kids, man, let's go start with that topic right now. Being a new parent as a streamer, man. I know you just recently had a baby. Congratulations. Welcome to fatherhood, my guy.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, man.
Tell us about that, man. How's that going for you?
Oh, man. God bless my wife. She's been the true rock here, obviously. I'm nothing compared to my wife, who had to push out that little one. My wife, honestly, round of applause for her. I witnessed firsthand what women have to go through childbirth, man. And let me tell you, man, seeing that for the first time makes you, I respected women all my life. I was raised by three of them: my grandma, my mom, and my sister. Really, my father wasn't really much involved after a certain age, but seeing the way she was in that surgery room, just to find out that she needed to get a C-section towards the last end of things made me realize a lot. And I really want to applaud my wife, first of all, for being a champion, honestly. But yeah, being a dad has been refreshing, has been giving me a restart in life, man. It's like hitting that reset button in life, and it's both tough, could be overwhelming, but at the same time it's beautiful, and it's something that I can't describe. All I wanted to do was hold my baby without a shirt on that first time I saw her.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experienced that. They say that's a feeling that you will never get. You can only get it one time in your life, or whenever you have babies. But that first moment when you hug your baby without a shirt on and you get that skin to skin, that dude, I just can't. Oh my god.
Oh, baby
I'm
skin
getting
is
emotional.
so soft.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to have a new kid as a streamer, because my kids are 8 and 10, so they're a little bit older. But I do remember that feeling. My first kid, we were in Arkansas, and it's funny. Half the guys that I know that are dads were like, "Don't look, don't watch, don't don't do this and don't do that. I was like, why? What's the worst can happen? He's like, you're just never gonna see it the same. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I watched it happen, and I was like I didn't even think about anything besides the fact that like I created something with my wife. And yeah, you're right, dude. Women are strong. God bless their hearts and their soul and their bodies for sacrificing so much to produce and to allow us to have babies like that, you know. And my oldest one's named after me, so he's a junior. And me and him we have our moments. We have our moments of you know, we're together, and then we have our moments where he's like, you know, I don't like you right now, Dad, you know. But you know, but you know, it's part of life. It's a part of the growing pains, and it's a blessing, man. And then my youngest one, with him being autistic, nonverbal, we have a lot more moments where like he just ignores us, and it's like he's just in his own little world. There's nothing wrong about it, and we struggle with trying to get, you know, we tell him, we're like, we love you, and he's just like, no, and he runs away. And maybe that's his way of saying he loves us, and he's just kind of shy. I don't know. But they're both great kids, and they're growing so much, and they're doing well in school. And yeah, man, so you have a lot to look forward to. One thing I will not do is I will not sacrifice my time away from my kids unless I have to, because the military sends me on deployment or something like that. But if there's a sporting event or a choir event or something they want to do, like, I'm going to be there for them. I did do T-ball with my oldest one time, and he was all excited for it at first, and then he found another kid that didn't really have any interest in it. It was just kicking the dirt around, and then that's really where it went to. And I was like, man, you could have. And he's got a hell of a swing. He's got a hell of an arm. Yeah, dude. Like he can be what he wants to be. He's got the natural talent like I do when it comes to sports.
I see you, man.
Yeah, you like how I threw that in there?
I caught that.
Yeah. So like that's the thing, is me and my brother were both natural talents, man. We didn't play Pop Warner. We didn't do. I think my brother did more organized sports with flag football with my dad. I didn't really have that for some reason. I'm not sure what the deal was. The moment I hit high school or junior 8th grade, and I played in organized sports, man, I killed it. Started every year. Wrestling.
Wow.
You know, I first place in state on freshman year, second place senior year. You know, junior and sophomore year, we won't really talk about that much. But it's like SBMM, man. Like my sophomore and junior year, I just had a lot more competition, a lot more. The older kids that were there just had more experience. This is what it was. And I didn't really take it seriously those two years. I did, but I didn't, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't like, so my senior year, I ended up like wrestling with all the heavyweights and the light heavyweights, just to get that strength down, to get that momentum down, and figuring things out
and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so senior year, I dominated, man. Like literally 27 pins the first 27 matches, and then I tech falled the rest of them, and then I lost to only 3 people, and I had 4 losses total. So I lost to one guy twice.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. So it was intense. I mean, so there's that, and like football, I was like I think I broke the state record senior year for most block punts and field goals.
No way.
Yeah.
Special teams. Damn,
I
bro.
played special teams. I played defense. I played a little offense. I did everything, you know, and it is what it is. But my son has picked up that gene, like, you know, of natural athletic ability. Now it's just a matter of putting it there. I don't want to be that dad that like relives my high school through him. But I also don't want to force him to do something he doesn't want to do. So I'm waiting for him to be like, Dad, I want to play football, or Dad, I want to play, you know, wrestling, or I want to play swim team, or something that is athletic. You know, he's definitely got his mom's genes when it comes to wanting to run all the damn time, because they just run everywhere, and she's a runner, and so they stay skinny, and I'm over here fat because I don't run as much, which I've been doing actually a lot more this last few months. So that's been helping out a lot with my mental health. And
it's great for mental health for sure.
And honestly, I've never loved running, and lately I've been enjoying it. I think I finally realized what runner's high is. When I ran 3 miles last week, I was like, damn, I could do another fucking mile if I wanted to. But I stopped already, so I'm not gonna do it. so it's been interesting the last few months with me and my kids. Is I've been putting a lot more time into it. I think last week I did a couple hours with my son on stream with Roblox, and you know, and like today I just took him to Dave & Buster's with my unit, because we did like a family day event for the holidays, and so we spent 5 hours there doing that. You know, he's been enjoying a lot of stuff. So you have a lot to look forward to, man. Stay on top of it. Stay happy. Stay blessed. Kids are fun, man. 'Cause I know there's a lot of people who have been having babies too around the same time. And like, I think it was Tessie just had a baby.
Yeah, we both were very close.
Mm-hmm.
We got really cool just because of that. We were talking about giving each other tips and stuff like that. And
And I understand, like, some of them are bigger streamers, and so they're full-time streamers, and so I can only understand like how much pressure they have with trying to balance that new thing in their life, because it's not something you can just put to the side and like, yo, I'm gonna stream real quick, you just be quiet, you know.
It's not like that, man. You know, she's 6 months now. She's very smart. But again, I'm a first-time parent at the age of 41. It's a different ball game. Being 41, married, at the time, the only person working, obviously, because my wife had to stay home with the baby, and being a first-time parent and juggling all that at the same time really takes a toll on you. It makes you question. You know what I'm saying? You still want to do what you love and streaming, but at the same time, now there's a child that you have to be there for. I took a little break just for a little bit at the beginning. And then that's when I made the transition. Right when I made the transition from Twitch to Kick was when, you know, it was like the tail end of things. And I was just dwindling down on my career as a streamer because I've been streaming for 6 years plus, almost 7 years. And next year in March, around March. So right before I made the transition to Kick, my wife was like 7 months or something like that. I can't remember. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stream what I can. When baby's born, I'm done. I may not stream for like 6 months. I was already thinking about tearing everything down for the baby's room because this is the guest room that we have, which is gonna be the baby's room.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was already content with it. I was like, I'll stream when I can. I'll have a little corner somewhere, and that's it. And then Kick came by, and it kind of revitalized me. And that was like towards the tail end of my wife's pregnancy. She was already at 9 months, and the baby was due May 12th, May 14th, I think it was. And it was born April 28th. We weren't expecting that, and it was during the time that we were pushing for verification when it was 50 CCV at the time. We had to hype it, and just literally 2 days before our subathon, which I was just telling my chat, we never had a subathon. That was going to be my first one because I always wanted to be meaningful. I'm not one of those people that are going to do a subathon just to do one. I just hate asking for these things. It's not me. And that Saturday was the 30th, I believe. And 2 days before the baby was born. And I was like, great, here it goes. It's my luck, man. But it was a beautiful thing at the same time. So I was so confused. And we applied. And when we applied for verification, it was 49 out of 50 CCV. They denied me. And I was livid. But anyway, I took a little break. My wife has been a champ. I really bowed down to her. She was the one who told me, listen, you still need to go do what you love doing. And I'll try my best. We'll have a schedule down, which is really difficult to do. You have a schedule, you still don't follow it as a creator. It's just trying to take care of home, trying to do this at the same time. You can easily get lost in this world of streaming. You can easily neglect those people at home. You don't even realize these things, and it can happen at any given moment unless you communicate, right?
Yep.
So,
yeah, and then I think you just recently hit verification too, didn't you?
Yeah, finally after 6 months.
Man. Hey, you made it, man. You made it. Now it's just now the grind continues even more,
Yeah. And again, like I tell people, it's not the check mark, it's the journey behind it. For me, that's why I was so emotional about it. How that happened, and there was more behind it, and I kept feeling like a failure because of it, or asking life why does this have to happen to me while I have a beautiful baby and family and all these things. But it took me 6 months to get verified, man. And we're here though.
I mean, congratulations, man. You definitely deserve it. You worked hard for it, and we appreciate you and what you've done for the community, for the Hispanic community as well. And it's great seeing people succeed through the dark times and the good times. And right now there's a lot of dark times right now over the Twitter space because of whatever's going on. And that's the thing, is we just got to put our head down, duck underneath that dark time, and keep driving on, and our time will be there. But no, congrats, man. That's awesome.
That mute button has been my best friend on Twitter.
Right.
I'm blocking it all out, man.
Yeah, exactly. The question I have for you is, before the baby, when you're streaming, did you guys have really good communications about your schedule, or about what you wanted to do, what you plan to do, what you wanted to put money into to entertain and all this other stuff? And then what is it? Did it change, or did it become even better since the baby's been born?
Shoot, my wife's here. I gotta be careful what I say.
I'm only asking these from experience because I know the same way. Well, I know the same thing from being married, right? And so I started my streaming career about 3 years, actually going to be next month. And so
congratulations,
man.
Yeah,
thanks, man. She didn't even okay, so my wife's not here, so I can tell you guys this. So
oh, you lucky. You lucky.
She might be. I don't know.
I'll DM you what I really think. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Right. So I started streaming because I was playing video games a lot, like after work, and like it was, us guys, that's what and especially us growing up in the 80s, 90s, that's what our thing was, is like we played video games. And like it's not like it's I wouldn't say it's an addictive thing. It's more like it's how we handle ourselves and how we calm down, how we let go of things. And she didn't.
Can you say that louder, please?
Right. So how we let go of things. Hold on. How we let go of things. And then my son was watching YouTube, and he was playing video games. He's been playing video games for a while, since he was like 4 years old. And then he started figuring out YouTube, and he was watching YouTube tutorials on how to play this game that he has. I'm that old head, like, why are you watching YouTube? Like, I didn't realize that YouTube was becoming a strategy guide for things, and I didn't know
that was magazines back in the day. Right? Remember those gamer magazines?
Yeah. The strategy guide. I would go to Kmart and rip pages out of the strategy guide. So then my son, and then I was looking into it, like people doing it, and they're like monetizations. I'm like, what? People get paid for it. People on Facebook were getting paid, and Twitch. I'm like, I didn't even know that. And so I was like, I got an idea. I said, hey, babe, I'm gonna start streaming. I'm gonna make some money. Maybe we'll see how it works. And so I started because my kid influenced me to play video games.
That's
and
awesome.
stream, but it turned into something bigger because I never expected this. I never expected me to have this conversation with you, people like you, or just be able to raise money for veterans or have a platform to do something great for people and showcase who I really am, not just through video games and not just because of a platform.
I think that could be the story for many of us, in relationships or whatever, in marriages or whatever that is. For me, it was similar, but not. I would play once in a while with my friends, and there was this one guy. We had like this little clan that we used to play with for Call of Duty. You know, you had clans back in
Yeah,
the day.
yeah.
We used to have this MLG thing happen, and this was before I met my wife. And then when I met my wife, I had to make that transition. And I did tell her I gamed, but I didn't tell her to what extent I gamed.
Right. She's like, "Oh, you game? Okay, cool." And then like
Yeah.
17 hours later, she's like, "I thought I had a boyfriend."
Shout out to Reckless. Gizmo's there with my main mod for 20. Been my friend for 20 years. He's one of them that's in the chat right now.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, my one of my mods is my high school buddy.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see? So I started and I heard one of my friends, it was Beam going to Mixer at the time, and his name was Argentine Stew. And we were all in a party, and he's having fun, and he's like doing all these things. And I'm like, I can do that. I'm like, I can do that. And I'm hype as it is myself in general. So I was like, you know what? Let me start off by doing that. But at the same time, what I really wanted to do was doing cooking stream. I love cooking.
Oh, I love cooking.
And I wanted to use gaming to segue into cooking. And in Mixer, I just didn't expect the amount of love from the community that I got with gaming and all this stuff so quickly that I totally forgot about the cooking channel and all this stuff and just became that. Eventually, I'm going to come back to cooking. I love cooking. It's my life and my passion. It's how I got my wife, by the way.
There you go.
For those asking why I got a hot wife, that's exactly it. It's horrible jokes and good cook, okay? No, but seriously, it started off just to try it, and I just got the amount of love that I got immediately back in Mixer, which is, I always mention it because I hold it in a really special place in my heart, because I wouldn't be the gamer or the streamer that I am today without it. So that's how I started, and then we started getting really successful there. Almost 11K supporters. I call them supporters. I hate using the word followers. We do they
Right,
it's,
right.
it is what it is, but it sounds cultish to me. But supporters and friends, really.
Because we were like, hey, we can do that, and without the expectation of growing a big following or even growing just what we have today. Like I was telling someone the other day, is like because they are like, oh, I'm sorry I haven't been in your stream, I missed you this, and I'm like, yo, it's okay, man. I never even expected to be where I'm at today, anyways. I didn't
Right.
really expect to have more than one viewer. I did sell it to my wife about making money, but like she also, I guarantee she was probably like, yeah, okay, making money playing video games, yeah, we'll see. It's just something that we don't expect, and I've never done this for. I never did it for exactly for money. I did it for myself, meet new people, and eventually I learned that I can use this platform for charity things, to help veterans, and now I'm using it to help you guys all and help everyone understand that these talks need to happen, no matter what
These hard
space you're in.
conversations. Yep.
No matter what space you're in, no matter what corporate America job you're doing, whatever you're doing at home, whatever may be the case, is that we're here for you guys, and I want this to be an open discussion amongst me and another creator. I think we might be having. I know somebody in my community reached out to me on Discord, say, hey, I'm not a content creator, I don't have a camera. He's like, but I'm willing to come on and talk my story. And I'm like, exactly, that's where I want it to get to, and that's the kind of the goal is. I want people to see that people like Ocean, people like Lauren, people like P2G. I think I have lined up Max Rhymes, I have
Nice.
Rush Easy, and I have a couple other creators that I'm just gotta lock down some dates with. And I think I have who do I have next week? I can't remember now. I gotta look at my notes. But I have people. I want people to see that creators are not comfortable talking about this, but they're comfortable talking about it because it has to happen, because it's a need. It's something that we need to do. And eventually, I want to be able to bring. Maybe I can have. We might have Ocean back on here later on. We can actually have bring people one at a time to hear your guys' story if you guys are comfortable with it. But that's what I want to do. Is I want to make it comfortable so that way it's easier to talk about, and we can save more
And it
lives
should be
that way.
that way. And that's the way it should be. It doesn't depend. Your lens is your heart. That's basically what it is. Your true lens is the side of your heart. That's
Yeah.
the way I've always saw it, and these conversations need to happen because a lot of us have that one common denominator. Whoever games and stream has one common denominator. That's mental health, that's anxiety, that's depression. Hands down, if you ask this question in a poll on Twitter, whatever, I guarantee at least 99.8% of gamers, streamers have dealt with depression, anxiety, suicide, PTSD, whatever it is. This is an escape for that. And that's why I think, my opinion, that's why we game and stream mostly. It's just to disconnect and find that comfort in building a community, to have that support that you may not have at home in real life, right? So, and I always say that we always have here, we're always here with one common denominator. It's just a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned that last week between Player Two Gaming and Lauren. I was just basically saying, like, there's a lot of people on there that says, don't go live if you're not feeling it, or if you're not feeling in the right mental space, and like they're absolutely correct. However, if this is your escape, if this is what helps you, if your community shows up for you because of who you are and what you've done for them or what they see in you, that could also be your escape, and that's why that's a reason why you still go live. Now, granted, there is certain levels that of how you're feeling that maybe it isn't the right time for you to go live, but that's on you to decide that. But at the same time, I also think that for me, it's been a while since I've had that headspace where I just don't want to hit go live, because my community's been
Right.
showing up, and it's been great. The little community that I have, and I appreciate everyone. I've recently gained new followers and new members of a daily basis that they come in and they talk and they chat and they play games and they do things and this and that, and it's been great. And I think the break that I took, mandatory because of the Army, when I was at that school for 3 weeks in October, really helped me kind of like center myself and realize what I should do. And like, this is something that's been missing. And one thing I got tired of is people talking about mental health on Twitter, but not doing shit about it. And so
It's
this
the
is
action behind
me.
it.
This is me
Yeah.
standing up, taking the initiative, and doing shit about it, and opening it up to creators. And then eventually, hopefully, we get more viewers and followers that want to. Now, one thing I learned in the Army with soldiers and my career and experience from it is that a lot of people that are having suicidal ideations have had suicidal attempts. Is they just want people to listen. They don't really want you to be there to solve their issues. They don't want you to be there to try to help them do anything. It's mainly just they need somebody to talk to.
And that's a small, like, that's the thing, a lot of the viewers that come in here just to want to hang out, play video games, to talk to somebody, for example, right? And you hit it in the nail. People just talk about these mental health things, but they don't not doing anything about it. It's the action, is opening up these spaces, right? And give them the resources afterwards to then have some sort of follow up. You know what I mean? We're not mental health. I mean, I'm not a therapist or anything like that. So there's a thin line there, right? It's a gray area where you have to also be careful,
Right.
Because people can really get attached to you, thinking that you are gonna give them that, that advice, and you definitely gotta be careful, man. And when people like comment, I have this section in my Discord called 1v1 Let's Vent. 1v1 is like, 1v1 yourself is part of my brand. It's like my mental health aspect of things.
Oh, that's awesome.
1v1 Let's Vent, and people will comment and say, "Hey, this is my day." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, man. But just make sure it's okay to go seek therapy. It's fine. You're not crazy. It's actually the best thing you should do. The most responsible, more confident thing to do is seeking therapy. Number one,
Yeah.
And I say that immediately, just to make sure and set those expectations.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is a big thing in the classes that I give for the soldiers is we talk about stigma at the soldier level, the unit level, the command level, the Army level, and a lot of times, I'd say they've gone away from it, and they've helped battle the stigma. I want to say about maybe 10 to 15 years ago, where soldiers thought the reason why they never spoke up is because they would lose their promotion eligibility, or they would lose their clearance, or this and that, because they have the mental health aspect of things. And it's like, well, the Army did have some of those in place where they were using that stigma and preventing them from progressing in the career. But they realize that, like, that's kind of shitty for you to do that. When soldiers want to seek help, they can't seek help now because they're scared, because so that's one thing that we've been pushing a lot too, is just saying, like, listen, just because you seek help, and if you're in a company that punishes you for seeking help, you're in the wrong company. I'm sorry to say that, but they should not prevent you from promoting or moving up in the chain because you're seeking help. Honestly, I would definitely look somewhere else for a job and go seek help anyways, because your health matters more so. Because I think companies starting to realize that even though you may be a small cog in the wheel, that small cog still can cause a domino effect of production being ruined. And that's one thing that I look at is, like, I don't care. And I've been telling my commanders, like, listen, if your soldier comes in and says, "Yo, I'm just not here mentally today," send them to go get that. Tell them, "Hey, let's go get help," because it's going to be better that you get the help than them not getting the help because you held them back, and then they end up, committing suicide, and now you don't have anybody there to complete the mission. Because our as an NCO, our number one mission is it says mission first and then soldiers, but I've been trying to flip that, saying soldiers first then mission, because without the soldiers you can't complete the mission.
Facts.
And so that's some of the things that we've been doing, what I've been pushing the message out lately, and it's been working. Like, luckily for me, I have really good rapport with my commanders, and they listen to me when it comes to that, and because I haven't proven them wrong yet, or I haven't proven them wrong about me and about what I'm saying, and it's been working. But like you said, I'm not a therapist. I'm not certified. I don't take calls for money for people to see me out and get help. I just listen. I'm just there, and I give you advice, and I give you resources. And I don't expect you to take the advice if that's what you want. But at the same time, I'm here to listen. And like Don Rican was saying, like, listen. They want you to listen, not hear them,
Just
because there's
listen.
a huge difference between listening and hearing.
There is that. That's true. That's big. Yeah.
Active listening is a tough skill to learn, but it's the best skill to learn when it comes to being able to understand, one, the conversation, two, the intent of what's going on. So yeah, so let's get back to, so we essentially that answered our question about what does mental health in this industry mean to you, unless you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
It's mental health for me means more than it's more than that too. Obviously, I'm I'm not a military, but I know all of my I'm surrounded by it and it's big. But also in gaming, it's big because burnout. I've always said it. Burnout is real. It's like the silent killer in content creating at work, but mostly we talk about streaming. We get so infatuated with these things that you set certain expectations. That's number one. You start thinking because everybody else or you see a big streamer doing this and making all this money and getting all this attention. You think it's the same thing. You start doing it. You get a dose of it a little bit. A lot of it is a lot of, and again, be careful with these support communities because these things will set these kind of expectations when you're in that world of support for support. And then when that support for support is gone, you're not used to those numbers or whatever the case may be. You start pushing and pushing, you burn yourself out. And next thing you know, you're frustrated, you're depressed, you start questioning yourself, you start acting crazy and arguing with people on the internet, on Twitter, or whatever, like you see now. Burnout is real, man. And it's happened to me several times. It happened to me not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? Thank God that I started reading, knowing what my cues were once I started feeling that burnout, getting irritated with my wife for no goddamn reason, right? With not hanging out with my friends as often. They would text you, hey, we're going to hang out on Saturday and we're just going to go watch a game, have a drink or whatever, whatnot. We're so infatuated with being the next big creator or streamer that we say, oh, no, 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 next time while you go and stream, you're burning yourself out. You're neglecting your, what's really important, which is not that you guys aren't important, but your outside worlds, your friends, your day ones, your family, your wife, they take the back seat. And then you hear burning yourself out, getting irritated at the wrong people. So this is big. And I want to talk about that because it happens to me several times. I've broken down. I've talked about my ADHD. I've talked and about my anxiety and all this stuff, which also in the streaming world has helped, but at the same time has caused a lot of damage to me, certainly recently with anxiety. So I had to take like a huge break because of it. But I understood that and I took a break and it helped me out. And having a community that understood that and allows me to take my breaks whenever I can is huge.
Especially now, right, with the baby and everything. Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah. On my whole streaming career, I've been lucky to have the people in my community be like, okay, dude, don't worry about it. And it makes me feel better to take that break. It doesn't give me that guilty conscience like, oh, I didn't go live, man. And, I'm late because XYZ. My community, they're trolls in a good way. If you don't get trolled by your Mazda community, you're doing it wrong.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, that's something I'm always grateful for. That's more valuable than a sub to me any day. Because again, those are things that you need to avoid this burnout and these false expectations that people fall into and don't really focus on what's important, man. So I'm really adamant about that. I'm really big on that, man, because it's rough, man. And you've seen, I don't know, there's been a lot of creators that has fallen through that hole. Big creators I don't know. I think one that I don't know if he committed suicide. Was it earlier this year or last year?
Yeah, the one that did it on stream.
Yeah,
that's what we're. That's that me and Don Rican were talking about that last night. Because
Right.
he made a post the other day about it and about a different streamer, and I don't know. I don't recognize the name he mentioned, and I don't remember the name. But I started seeing a lot more. Like I saw the video of it on TikTok.
I didn't want to see it.
Well, I just happened to run into it. I didn't know what was going on until I seen the comments and seen
Right.
what was going on. I was like, holy crap. Like, and that's the thing. It's ironic because normally it's the females that are usually getting bullied and harassed and, because they have an OnlyFans page or they have this and they have that, or they're just, they have low cleavage or they have this and they have that. And then you got these dumbass guys that are in there trying to bully them and harass them about it and like, oh, you're only making money because of this and this and that, you're selling this and you're selling that. And it's different when it hits. I don't know why it hits different when a male does it. And that kid that committed suicide live on stream was being bullied by everybody or by whoever it was. And the thing is, I haven't personally had that it happen to me. I've had a couple trolls come in here and there throughout my time, but I've seen it all over Twitter, I've seen it all over TikTok, Twitch, Facebook, everywhere, of mixed genders receiving some of the same punishments that some of these bigger streamers have. And like, people don't realize you just can't, like, why do you have to make you're using so much more of your energy to go purposefully and try to belittle and degrade and bring people down than it is for you to simply say, hey, keep killing it. Yo, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much. Whatever. And burnout is real, man. I've had it. I was going through a lot of burnout with Facebook, and honestly, with Kick, I haven't really had that. It's been nice. I've been here since like late February, and it's been refreshing. It's been nice. The
Definitely
burnout
has.
the burnout I go through, and it's not even like I think I do a little differently because I don't really I'm inspired and I admire some of the bigger streamers and what they do and how they do it. And I try to think of different ways to incorporate some of the things that they do. But my way, that's probably where the burnout comes from, is trying to figure out the creative ways of thinking outside the box
Yep.
to get things going. Whatever may be the case. But I think what people really, and you see it the last 3 months, a lot more so now, that mental health is an issue because Partner First Class came out, Phase 2 came out, Phase 3
Yeah,
came
I
out.
knew that was gonna
And
gosh, yeah.
everybody that's been complaining about pick me's and this and that, and like they have that mental health. They're burnt out because they busted their ass off expecting to be handed the partnership, and
Ye
they weren't recognizing they didn't get it. And it's like, well, it's nothing to do with any fault for their own. They grinded their asses off. Some of them were told that they were denied because of view botting. If you were, unfortunately, that's the case. You have no way of
A
fighting it,
lot of people are doing that. It's
right?
crazy, man.
But then at the same time, it's like if you're trying to do shortcuts, you're obviously not going to get where you want to go. If you do things honestly, eventually it's going to happen. You just got to wait your time, keep grinding, think of different ways of doing it. And I'm not a big fan of negative publicity as good publicity. I just don't, I've never been a big fan of that.
I don't need that attention, man. I can't. That's not me.
Yeah.
Period.
I also
Like,
feel like it burns more bridges than it does, than it builds, because
I mean, you have to think long term, really, and
right.
also you have to think long
If
term
that's going to
and
be your
have to.
niche, then I guess go for it. But you're going to have to handle it and deal with it, and that's going to be that's what they're going to be known for. It's going to be hard to come back from it, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But mental health in the creator space is a huge deal, and I think a lot of it too. And for those that are grinding their asses off, we applaud you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep grinding. Keep doing it. You're going to get noticed one day or another. But here's the thing: stop trying to be like somebody. That's the biggest thing I see, is stop trying to be like somebody and try to be your own thing. It's
Be
okay.
genuine.
It's okay to be inspired and try to develop things your own way, but don't copycat. Because because somebody was successful in creating a reel for a meta loadout for MW3 and it went millions of views, doesn't mean by you doing the same thing for the same build and the same title is going to do the same
Right.
for you. Like like it's funny. And the reason why I say that is because because my
That's a great
wife.
analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
My wife actually put on did a reel one time. I think it was like a year and a half ago. She did a reel on her personal Instagram account, and it ended up getting like 20,000 views.
Wow.
And I was like, shit. Okay, so I downloaded that video and I posted it on my page, and trying to see, because I mean, it was like, I like to show some of my family on there, whatever, and I did the title and everything too, and I got like 30 views. Like, I'm being serious. Like, that's how it is. You can't just copy
It
someone from
is.
doing it. And like, granted, I was just testing the waters to see if, maybe we get the same algorithm, and we didn't. It's not going to work that way. You have to come up with your own way. You have to
I
come up.
love that example. Yeah.
So it just goes to show, like, there are some people that do, and I've seen, like, I've even reached out to some of the bigger creators that had some of these videos being posted on other people's pages. Like, and it wasn't even like shouting them out or anything. It was just like they were like literally posting their reels on their page and getting thousands of views and millions of
No
views.
freaking way.
Yeah,
Dude.
and so I had messaged some of the bigger streamers saying, hey, this person's X, Y, and Z. Because, like, yeah, okay, you can call me a snitch all you want, but the thing about it is that person that made that freaking content is losing out on money because they're stealing their shit. And, there's legal ramifications for that.
There definitely is.
But anyway, so, I mean, content creating, just like anything else, has its ups and it has its downs. And when it's up, you're really fucking up there. I mean, I've been hosted by Big E a couple times. I've been hosted by Testy. I've been hosted, and those streams were just blowing up. They were just kicking out before they got there, and then it got even better when they got there. And like, it's nice because you feel like you're being recognized, and I was recognized, and it's cool. Like, I think the biggest stream I ever got on Facebook was from Stevie T, and that
Who's
was
that? Yeah.
he I don't know if you know who he is, but he used to run with he would run with like Spartacus and Stone Mountain sometimes and stuff like that.
Oh. You know Sparty? I know Sparty. Me and friends,
Yeah.
good friends with Mixer, man.
Oh yeah, nice, yeah. So I don't know him personally, but I do have my high school buddy. His name is Spartacus, but with a C, not a K.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go through sometimes there's some weeks where it's just like you got one or two viewers in there, and they're whether they're chatting or not, and like you start questioning yourself, and it's like, well, no,
Yeah.
okay, listen, you can't question. Like, you have to understand, people have lives. Like, your viewers have lives. They
part of
can't
it.
necessarily like be in your stream every day. Now, I'm thankful for those that are there every day. I have a mod that wasn't here for pretty much the majority of the time I was in Kick. I didn't fire him. I know he had things going on. He just moved. He's trying to rekindle things with his daughter. He's trying to do all different things. But it's because he communicated, and like, I'm not gonna sit there and just throw him out the wind, because not only that, I'm not fucking paying him either. So like, I can't just
Yeah, they're
You
doing
know what
this
I
for
mean?
free, really.
Yeah,
You know.
so but my mentality is I got 10 years left in the army. I got a career still going. I wouldn't say this is a hobby, but it's not a second job. And like I'm not in a rush to make it big. And if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. I'm just going to do things the way I do things and if it happens, it happens. But I
To
also look
me,
at it from the inspiration of Stone Mountain. I think he just hit 13 years of streaming. By the time he hit 10 years is where he became somebody that
yeah.
like I think 10 years is when he hit 3 million followers on Facebook. He hit a couple million on YouTube, and he's got a bunch of different channels. He's got pipeline. He's got all that. Now, I don't expect to be that big or like doing a lot of things like that because that takes a lot of knowledge, a lot of lessons learned, and a lot of things to get to. But I have 10 years before I retire. That means in 10 years, I could potentially be where he's at. And it's inspiring to know that like I have 10 years in the army that I can just take my time, learn what I need to learn,
And build your
and
community,
grow and
build
build
your
it. Yep.
brand. Yeah.
hmm So that way I don't have to be retired and at Walmart saying, "Welcome to Walmart."
And that happens a lot for military. Like,
Yeah.
it pisses me off, man. And you guys are giving up your lives. So then when you retire, a lot of you get lost in the world, starting with health insurance. Again, I'm in the health. That's what I do in my real life. I'm in healthcare. And when I don't want to get off topic. I know when we visited the VAs, my jaws just dropped, and I'm like, this is the kind of service they get in the VA after giving up
Yeah.
their lives.
hmm
It's mind-boggling. A lot of my medicine residents, when I used to work for a medicine residency program, would come back. They'll do a rotation there, and they come back and they're like, we cannot believe the way our active and retired military vets are getting their healthcare system is started curse.
No,
Fucked up,
no,
dude.
and that's another thing that goes like mental health for veterans. We're not getting the help we need when we get out because like you can't even get TRICARE when you get out because unless you retire, and even then, I think you have to be a certain age to get the retirement plan or something like that, or you have to at least be retired. But once you're
Right.
discharged, I think you can still get TRICARE, but then like you're paying. But I mean, so the TRICARE it's not as expensive as like most civilian healthcare insurances, but I also don't know what it covers in regards to mental health and stuff like that. And I hope that it covers more than what I think it does. But with that, it's like me being an active duty veteran, I have to deal with all this stuff with the the military, and then we every year we come up with the continuing resolution where we may not even get paid until they pass a law to give us the money for it. That's not even just us getting paid, but that's also getting funded for any of the operations or training that we need to do to send us to school. So like this weekend, we almost had to cancel our drill for the reservists because they waited.
Wow.
They were waiting until Friday to say, "Oh, yes or no." And
That's
so
insane.
that's called the
Oh
government
my gosh.
shutdown. We deal with that every year.
Oh yeah, they avoided the government shutdown.
hmm
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
every year, I
yeah.
think there was one year, I think it was 2014 or 15, where they actually shut down for like a few weeks.
I remember that. Yeah.
And luckily for me, I still got paid. I don't know. I mean, I was a civilian for the military at the time, and so I still got paid. Like it was. I don't know if it affected the civilians. I think it more or less affected the soldiers. So they couldn't drill that month, and some of these soldiers rely on that drill money to pay off a bill or to have money for food. It's almost
Right.
like, so if you guys look at it this way, reservists, their money is almost as important as some of us content creators, because the money that we do make, the little money that we do make, can be something that could help with groceries, or can be something that helps with auto insurance, or help with the small bill that we couldn't get to because we're not getting paid the way we probably our experiences and whatever may be the case. But the other thing too is, don't freaking ask for $15 an hour as a minimum wage and not expect everything to get expensive. Like, I just went to Chick-fil-A the
Yeah.
other day. I ordered 2 spicy chicken meals and 2 chicken nugget meals, and it was $50. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy,
Like
man.
that. There goes your $17 minimum wage. Like that's the reason. That's the reason why we don't want to push higher minimum wages, because everything else gets fucking skyrocketed.
Everything's skyrocketing. I
Anyways.
mean, what's happening in the world anyway?
Yeah, there goes my mental health right there, because now I just spent $50 on a meal that could have been $25, 3 years ago, and now I'm like, fuck. Now I got to figure out where I got to get that $50 from.
The formula is
Formula.
$51
$51
per
now?
can.
No shot. Okay, babe, we can't have a kid no more.
$51.
Holy shit.
That's what I had to go get. I was running around. I went to Walmart, and it took forever for me to get somebody to open up the damn glass thing. $51.
And I was
per
gonna say
can,
that's
dude.
the result of them having it locked up like it's fucking Fort Knox.
It's dude. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You see a 85-inch TV out in the open, formula locked up, need a code.
Right. Like, listen, and those 85 inches aren't even as heavy as they used to be.
Yeah, right. I was like, wait a minute, something doesn't pan out here.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna give a big shout out to my wife. My wife, she's for 3 years. She's been handling all the dinners. I mean, the only time people know that she's here is when you see her hand giving me a plate of food.
Really?
She doesn't like to. She doesn't like to get on camera. But she's up there taking care of the kids, the dog, the house. She's doing all kinds of things. She is a stay-at-home mom as well. And like when my first son was born, I just told her, I was like, listen, I'm not gonna be that dude that says you need to get back to work or you need to stay home. I'm gonna let you decide. Like you decide what you want to do, and I'll take care of everything else. You know, it is what it is. And I've been doing that for 11 years, and she's been home the whole time, and it's been a blessing because she's here taking care of the house, taking care of the food, taking care of the kids whenever they get sick. You know, and luckily for us, we've been able to find a house that's like close by to the school. So because she doesn't drive, so if she needs to pick them up at school, she can go and she can walk to go get them or whatever may the case. And I'm blessed to have a lovely wife. She's Hispanic. She's her family's from Mexico.
Arriba Mexico.
Yeah, so she's I'm missing some of the home food from her mom. You know, so this time around
man.
it's usually like tamales or something. You know, so
Certainly the holidays, man.
yeah, and pozole. You know, my wife is a blessing, man. It's you know, she supports me through thick or thin, and I know we've had our arguments about, oh, you're always streaming or you're always gaming and this and that. I'm like, well, I fell into that hole of like I can't just quit or I can't just take the day off because I already have it scheduled or people are expecting me to be there. I feel obligated to my community and I started realizing like I may have that obligation to the community, but also I have an obligation to my family. And if my family wants me there, I need to be there for them. And that's one thing I've been doing this last year, especially since I've been on Kick, is whenever there's something that's going on with the family and then she wants me to do something or the kids want me to do something, like I'm like, hey, you know, I'll go on there. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna stream tonight, this and this and that. And so I think that's also helped me not burn out, is being able to make sure I
Big
make
time.
the priority for the family, so that way I can hang out with them. And like I do a lot. I'm the grocery shopper. I take them to the appointments. I do all the dad stuff outside the house, and she takes care of the people in the house. And then, you know, she gets mad because I don't clean as much as she thinks I need to, and I think I don't need to clean as much as she thinks I need to, and you know, and
that's in every relationship.
yeah, and so
Certainly the dishes. The dishes is the big one.
well, it's one of those things, like we grew up in the 80s and 90s where like it was still kind of like that stigma was like if the woman's staying at home, she's doing all the cleaning, she's taking care of the house, she's doing all this while you're at work providing the food, the money, the house, you know, whatever. And I grew up, my dad was the same way. He just sit on the couch and he had 5 kids and the wife, and we're all the ones cleaning while he's just sitting on the couch doing nothing, watching TV. And like it is what it is. Like that's how I grew up. But at the same time, I also told myself I wasn't going to be necessarily exactly like my dad. My dad taught me great things. He taught me, you know, the pride and the hard work is what's going to help you take care of your family. But like, so I also started going into, because I think a lot of it was helping my wife with her mental health and not thinking that she needed to do everything. You know, even though we have our responsibilities, you know, we have split responsibilities where I do a lot more of this and she does a lot more of that. But there's times like right now, I think there's dishes that need to be cleaned, and I always tell her like, yo, if it's not clean by the time this and this and that, I'll take care of it. And I haven't done it this weekend, but I'll probably do it tonight. But I you know, I take care of the dishes, or I pick up the dog poop in the backyard, or I do little things around the house just to kind of like, you know, make sure that she's not feeling overwhelmed and stuff like that. And even with 2 older kids, you know, the overwhelmingness of taking care of the house or providing for the family still haunts us and rears their head out, and you know, causes drama for no reason, even though, you know, it could have been easily simply, you know, rectified by just doing it. And that's where I'm learning to do stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I'm still learning that too. Certainly with content creating, and
Especially when they expect us to read their minds.
Yeah, but listen. Your wife is not here, right? My wife is listening. All right, Don. Listen, if I get kicked out of here, I'm coming over there. I'm gonna sleep in that room back there where the little dog bed is.
Hey, that's fine, man. There's another bed right outside the window, outside the door. You're good, man. I got like a little apartment down here in the basement.
I'll be your backup dancer, okay? Nah.
There you go.
But seriously, my wife has been my rock through the streaming thing. I would not get this far in content creating without her support. I've been lucky, but at the same time, that also comes with, like we spoke earlier, those issues at home. You know.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm getting emotional. My wife has been my rock. She knows I'm an anxiety bug. I suffer from bad anxiety, and recently we had a big Twitter space that became huge. I don't know if you found out about it.
Was it the recent one or the previous ones?
It was the previous one. I think it's probably one of the first ones.
Mhm.
It was.
I was a part of it.
I think you were there.
Yeah.
It became this whole. I don't want to say the person's name. A whole thing about this person, and the reason why that space was created was it was mostly. I saw a lot of people tweeting, "Hey, I think I'm not going to do this. I'm going to quit. I'm going to go to Twitch or go to another platform."
Right.
And it gave me flashbacks to Mixer when Mixer was about to shut down and all this stuff, and people were freaking out. So we opened up the space just to talk about the good things that are happening, Kick, the good people, the good experiences that are happening, to kind of diffuse
It
and
got worse. Yeah.
and it became this thing. I was ready to quit. I was after I got hate mail. People were creating profiles with my name. I was getting DMs in my chat that would say crazy stuff. It set me into a whirlwind. I stopped immediately. I blocked my social media. I didn't go to work the next day. I stayed in bed most of the time. My wife was right there with me. Oh, sorry, I'm getting emotional, man.
No, you're good, man. Let it out, man. Got it.
She was the one that really whooped my ass into getting back into it. And this is when I was at a high. This is when F3 came into our channel, and we celebrated the day after F3 came into our channel, and my stream started exploding, and we did the whole. And then we had the Hispanic Heritage thing happening later on. I was ready to just give everything up. I took a lot of my panels down. And I was like, I'm done. I can't. I just became a dad, right? I'm 41 already. I'm like, I should not be dealing with this anymore. I'm done. You know, my
Yeah.
wife, I took 2 weeks off completely, and my wife was the one who kicked my ass back into shape. And I was like, listen, this is what you love doing. You can't let them win and all this stuff. I went to my doctor. I got prescribed meds for my anxiety that helped me out a little bit. I'm a champion for mental health as well. Like, I'm very, my community knows everything. I'm very transparent. That's who I am, and that's how I cope with things. But that backlash, I couldn't handle it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, and I believe in being vulnerable is your best form of confidence. I don't know if you guys heard of Brené Brown, and I say this all the time. Brené Brown, TED Talk was based on vulnerability, and she talks about that. Being vulnerable is your best form of confidence. Certainly for us men, we don't like to admit when
Oh
we're
yeah.
vulnerable and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But that was probably the lowest point of my career as a content creator. Just happened here with that situation when it wasn't even supposed to be that.
Yeah.
Honestly, again, lessons learned. I learned. You know, I need to really focus on my community, what I can have control of. Guys, if you see Twitter right now, in the streamer Twitter is insane. Keep yourself, you know, ahead of what you need, you have control of. Don't, you know, if you don't have control of something, just let it go. Focus on what's positive in your circle. Keep your circle tight and surround yourself around positive situations and people, because it's gonna send you to a whirlwind, man. Like, I almost quit, man. I legit almost quit 6 years of you know, ups and downs and building this beautiful community that I have because of that situation, right? And oh man,
I'm not crying. You're crying.
woo. Um,
Sorry.
and it
I'm
goes to
that
show
kind of
you
guy
how
that
fucked up people are in this world, bro.
yeah. Sorry. I try to. My wife hates it sometimes because I'll say some stupid shit to kind of break the ice, and some people take it differently.
Hi,
Um.
Miss Go.
Yeah.
Miss Go was one of them that reached out to me on a DM. We're very good friends. Me and
Yeah.
Miss Go
Go
were
lightly.
extreme teammates. Yeah, me and
Yeah.
extreme teammates back in Mixer.
Oh, nice.
And a lot of and also another reason that was I was trying to defend the first, you know, phase partners, because a lot of them are my friends from Mixer, and people weren't understanding how hard they were working and breaking night the day after that situation happened. And I was, you know, just trying to stick up for them, and so, you know, because they were getting a lot of backlash. And again, these are things I couldn't control, right? I let my emotions get into it, and um it's like playing telephone. You say something, somebody else twists, makes it something different, and it's a lesson learned for everybody, man. Just focus on what you have control of, you know, and let everything
Yeah.
else be.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's one of the messages I've been posting on these Domcasts is a lot of times we stress over things that aren't in our control. And I've done that when I was younger. I learned to figure out what is in my control and what isn't in my control, and that really comes down to, you know, you being able to sit back and like looking at what the issues are and what you're getting anxious about, what you're stressing about. And for example, people like, you know, and that was a good example. Like, there's nothing you can control. You can't control people's reactions. You can't control people's um, responses. You can only control how you react and how you defeat or how you react to diversity. And I mean, we applaud you for continuing the drive and getting over that. And that just shows a lot of strength that you have, not necessarily just within yourself, but for your community and for your wife and your child. And you know, from what I've seen so far since, you know, you've had the baby, and you know, you're doing great things with the kiddo, and you're being, you know, I'm proud to say you're a great addition to the fatherhood. Um,
Thank you, man.
you know, and like I've said in some of the comments on your Twitter is like, you know, you're doing great things. You're showcasing what it's like to be a new father, and the blessing it is to be, and you're doing great things, man. Just keep it going, keep it up. Just know that whatever you're doing right. And those haters that are coming in, and I was gonna make a joke earlier, is like, well, you got those messages and the backlash on it, and then, you know, you probably look at the camera and say, hey mom, I made it. You know, because, you know,
Right?
that's what they,
Yeah.
you know, that's the joke, the inside joke on the content community is, when you start getting those trolls constantly, that means you made
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
So
Yeah, but these were different kind of trolls. Like I thought I had tough skin till that moment happened.
yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, sometimes it catches you, it catches you off guard, and like me and Don were talking last night, and we were talking about like you can't be upset in somebody else's stream, but you also have to be able to control your own stream and who you bring onto it and who you have in
Right.
there, and you can't let that dictate how your stream goes, because then your community is going to be like, oh wait, this isn't the Gatsby we know or Ocean that we
Yeah.
know. They're like, this isn't, what's going on, and then all of a sudden your dynamic for your community changes, because then you start getting communities like Action Mans. But that's the thing, is like that's what we have to deal with, and we have to be able to take a deep breath and drink a F3 and just relax,
But yeah,
And
man, back to it. It's just, and again, I'm transparent.
yeah,
I do want to talk about this because there's probably somebody right now hitting that go live button for the first time,
yep,
and they don't know. They think it's all sunshine and rainbows, and it's really not, man. It's brutal. And I've mentioned it. I'll always mention it. The toughest thing about a creator is hitting that go live button. That go live button can have hate. It can have false expectations. It can have burnout. It can have a whole bunch of things.
it's
You know,
unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen during your stream, because you may have a plan. Like, we have our topics, we have our plan, whatever. As you guys have seen, we kind of got off topic a little bit a couple times, but at the same time, somebody might go into your chat right now and just start being god awful, or somebody might come in our chat and it's just, I might get view botted now, and all of a sudden get all these bot follows, and like,
yeah.
things will just throw you off, and the next thing you know, it throws the mood off, and so, but that's where we have strong community members and strong, strong monitors that can help out with
I
monitors. What the
love
fuck?
my community, bro.
Moder,
I'll
yeah,
do anything. I love
yeah,
man. That's true partnership. That community, your community, is the true partnership you can ever get
yep,
in life as a creator. Everything else is extra. Like everything else is the business aspect of things.
yeah,
Your true partnership, your true verification is your community and your experience.
exactly,
Period. These people have followed me from Mixer to Twitch to YouTube to a little bit on Facebook. I mean, like it. And the same people are here with me on Kick. And I'm so lucky to have that. And that's what I mean. Again, stay away from those support community. Stay away from that fake stuff, because eventually, long term, those people are gone, and then you're gonna think there's something wrong with you and your content, and you're gonna be one of those people on Twitter bad mouthing everything when it's sometimes really.
yeah,
So you gotta look at yourself in the face and be like, okay, this is why.
yep.
You know.
And just like anything can, like, you can't predict anything. And the reason why I say that is, like, there's a way to network, and there's a way to not network. There's
Yeah,
there's a lot more
exactly.
people that are trying to network the wrong way. But there are some genuine people that are trying to network the right way. But you may be networking with the wrong people that may not have the same agenda as you do. But I would say, for those that are new at streaming, don't be afraid to shoot your shot, but
Yep.
understand that you may not get where you want to go, or you may not get the response that you want, or even get a response at all, because you're starting out, and then you have to be able to provide what's the benefit for both sides, or some people want to benefit themselves, right? And you'll figure it out. And unfortunately, we all have to go through that part
Yeah, it's
of this
inevitable.
industry, to figure out that people only want to be around you when it benefits you. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that were going on with people going into DMs and begging for subs, or people going into people's chat and only interacting with people that are subbing, and there's
Oh, that's
you,
always been a thing, man.
yeah, and so, like, what I'm saying, but I'm saying is, like, you're gonna have that regardless, right? That's inevitable for you to prevent.
Yeah.
Um, but then, it's just you have to have that genuine connection with people, and it's not just with your community, it's with the streamers that are a part of your community, or trying to be a part of your community, that you have to figure out whether they have the
Yeah.
genuine curiosity to be a part of it.
And the only way you'll figure that out is time. Unfortunately, time will always show the truth.
Yep,
Always.
yep,
You know what I'm saying? And that's big that you hit in that topic, because these are inevitable things that, again, people are going through or doing. And people don't think about this during the pandemic. The pandemic created a lot of streamers. A lot of
yeah. I
streamers.
started, like, after the pandemic started, like December
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, and I was a streamer before that, so they were doing the same thing that many of us probably tried doing when we first started, right? And
Right.
this is why you're getting this backlashes now. Now with Kick, with this high, and I said it. I can't remember who I told. I'm like, thank God I have the experience and already that I've been through these kind of things. People are going through a high right now. You are going to see the real characters when that high goes away. And
Yeah.
that high was starting to go away when phase 3 was done.
Oh yeah.
Now you're gonna start seeing the true colors and the true
And we started
characters.
seeing it. Yep.
Have you? Right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I
And
stay in my lane. I just sit back and watch now, and then I'm like,
that's what I do. I lurk a lot. I don't really like. I do speak up on some things. Like I did make a post the other day about multi-streaming, right? Because multi-streaming, to me, I feel the reason why I'm bringing multi-streaming up because it does play a part in mental health, right? So, for example, for me, it doesn't work for me because if I'm multi-streaming, it's usually just to Facebook. I'm not a big Twitch fan because one, I don't care for my community spending all their money, and half of it goes to me, and half of it goes to a platform. And then not only that, they're spending money also on more than like half the time that they're watching me. They're watching ads. So like they're basically paying for the ads themselves. But if I do multi-stream, it's usually like Facebook. Well, Facebook, my page is completely shit. Like I don't really like notifications don't go out, and so the only reason why I was multi-streaming with Facebook was to bring people to funnel people
"Oh, yeah.
to Kick.
Yeah.
But if I'm not getting anybody in Facebook to funnel them to Kick, then why am I multi-streaming? I did it
Yeah.
for months on end. In the beginning of Kick, and I it just didn't work out for me. So like
Mhm."
so I put on there. I said there's only two reasons why you multi-stream, and then one of them was to funnel your people
I saw
over
that
to
post, yeah.
And then it said number two, and there was nothing in number two. And I was trying to see if anyone would recognize that I didn't put in number two. Well, there's a reason why there's number two because there isn't more than one reason besides to funnel your community
No,
to
it's
one.
pushing your content to bring people to your main content. That's
Yeah.
basically what that is, yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So, but again, one size doesn't fit all. But like, I know my mod had pointed out commented on there, and I told him I said, well, I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying, but it still ties back into the point that I made, the one point. But it causes mental health issues or situations for you because you're multi-streaming on multiple platforms and you're only getting views on one platform or the other, or you're splitting your community up, and then
You
you're
do
trying to
split your community.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you're trying to figure out where all these people are at or why they're not there, this and that, and why aren't they coming over to here? Why aren't they? And you start like getting in your head about things like what am I doing wrong? It's like, well, one, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just those platforms have algorithms. Unlike Kick doesn't really have an algorithm per se, and it's just not working, and it's not the way it is unless you're like somebody like Nick Merckx who can multi-stream or Ninja that
Who can do that? Yeah,
and can do that
yeah.
because they have a huge community, a huge following, a huge viewership. So you're gonna find out in the streaming world that there are some things that will work for others that it won't work for you for particular reasons. And in this case, it's the viewership. If you don't have a viewership already as it is, one, there's no reason to split it. Two, you're not going to be able to bring everyone over. But if you have your viewership already split because you have a huge community, then you can do multi-streaming because everyone's going to be able to see you at the same time, and then you have to manage the chat, multiple chats and stuff like that. So, um, but anyway, so as a content creator, there's a lot of different things that will cause mental health situations.
Yeah.
You just have to understand that it's okay to speak about it. It's okay to grab a good friend of yours. Like me and Don talk every once in a while. We used to talk a
Don
lot.
Regan is fantastic.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
amazing.
He'll call me once in a while, or I'll call him, and like we'll talk about whatever. And it helps to have somebody there that's in your corner to be able to do that. Or I'll talk to my mods, or I'll talk to Spartacus, which is my high school buddy, or I'll call Guskamo, and I'll throw some ideas at them, or whatever. And they'll either like bring me back down to earth, or
Yep.
they'll be like, that's great. How about we also add this, or how about we take this away but we add this? And so the thing that I'm struggling with my mental is trying to figure out, like, I want to start getting into more structured content. And I've also learned that when you do collabs, you have to collab with them and create content together. You can't collab with someone with the agenda of you're only creating your own content.
Oh no, it takes a lot to collab. I used to do that a lot in Mixer, and it used to take a toll on me because it's not only about you, number one, and it's also collabing with people that not everybody
Are
has.
like-minded.
Yeah, you're not gonna vibe with certain people at the same time while you're streaming. There's been a lot of. I'll never forget this. Was a really good friend of mine. I've always looked up to him as a streamer. That was back in Mixer. We did a co-stream one time, and he got pissed drunk in the middle of stream, like to the point where they had to find people to call him to get off.
Oh wow.
And that completely ruined my birthday, and I just got off. I was like, and it was a co-stream, right?
Yeah. Were you
God
drinking that time or no?
No, I was having I was having a drink. It was my birthday, but
Right. But you weren't getting
I
shit
wasn't.
faced. Yeah.
I would never get shit faced. No, that's the one thing I would never do. Certainly on camera. He was legit shit faced, cursing people out in camera, slurring, you know. And we were trying to, and that was the last time I did a collab co-stream. I never ever collabed again because if somebody would have been their mixer staff or somebody, I would have been a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My brand was that, I love him to death. We were friends afterwards. He was fine, but I told myself I'm never again going to do that, just because you don't know who's who at that moment. So
Yeah.
it's always, I don't want to say study, research the person, game together for a little bit before you collab or do anything, because you don't know who's who, man, or what
Yeah.
can happen.
Yeah. I had one time, and like there's this one creator that I coached him one time with, and like I carried his ass on Warzone, but mainly it's because well, here's the thing is like he's a good COD player, but the problem is like when you collab with somebody, your collab shouldn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, engage with your chat, but it shouldn't be 99% of you engaging in your chat and not engaging with the creator. Now, it could have been something that I did, or it could have been like maybe the vibes weren't there for him, and he was just I don't know, but I also learned that he was also only collabing with people to try to steal their viewers.
Oh gosh,
So that's why I'm like, okay, it's on him. So like I can't do that. I can't do it because like I'm also the
that
guy.
sounds very familiar,
Yeah,
man.
I'm also the guy that's like also like, hey, go check him out, go give him a follow. We're collabing, and stuff like that, and shouting out and this and that, and so and that's you just got to be careful with who you collab with. But like I said, don't be shy. Do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Learn and understand that it's going to happen. And it's not a bad thing. It's just it happens, and people you got to remember this is a business. So if people are doing business strategies that aren't necessarily aligned with yours, I mean, you're
And
going to
that's
find out, and that's okay.
and that's fine, and that's okay. Like and you got to realize that,
Yep.
and collabing is like it's a total different ball game nowadays. Like I wouldn't even know how to do that. You know what I mean? To me, collabing, it's just you on your live stream, I'm on my live stream. We're playing video games together. That's it. I mean, Judah and I do it all the time. You know what I mean? It's Vibin and Landmine, which are for two fantastic creators.
Oh yeah.
And it's just not even playing. It's like, hey, what you doing? You playing when you won. That's it. That's collabing to me. But yeah, man, I get it, man. That's good that
Yeah.
you bring that up to teach people what collabing is, what it can be.
Which then causes more mental health situations as well, because then now you're like, well, now I'm afraid, like you're talking about, you're afraid to collab now because you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Like for me, like whenever I'm collabing with somebody or they ask if I can hang out or join them for games or whatever, I let them know if I already have plans. I let them know, well, this is what I'm doing. Are you cool to run with that or whatever? Like, so I do drinking streams once a month. Chat loves to see me get drunk. And I'm not an overbearing person in regards to like nasty language or anything. I mean,
No.
I do say some stupid shit, but like it's not overbearing. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think because I'm such a sometimes I could be such a dry person that when I drink I get a little bit more looser.
I would pay to see that.
You missed it. You missed out. You missed it out on Friday. Then I'm just kidding. Last Friday. No, but so like I tend to be. I think that's where a lot of my funny content comes out of too. But I don't do it so often because one, we have to fill out a form every fucking year about drinking, and I'm still. If I do it once a month, I can say yes. I only drink more than 6 beers once a month. And so they can't say I'm an alcoholic, So
right.
And so anyway, so like if you let's say you wanted to collab with me last Friday, I would have been like, well, I'm doing a drinking stream. Are you cool with that? At least I give you a heads up about it. Like I'm pretty transparent too. I'll tell you what's going on and say like and if you're cool with it, it's cool. If not, we can schedule another time. But I let people know so that way they know what they're gonna get from me because I'll bring the vibes or I'll bring some good gameplay or depending on what it is, a tournament or whatever may be the case, I'll do what I can. But that's the thing is like there's a lot of people that have ulterior motives that don't really aren't as transparent as we are, and it's unfortunate that the newer streamers are the ones that fall victim to a lot of that.
Yeah, and it's good that we're talking about this. So whoever's listening that's new, they need to know that, man. They really do, because they have these false narratives that they see and they think it can happen to them. You have to be real about that. And Amaze, shout out to Amaze, man. He's one thing that again resonated with
He's
me.
awesome.
I've known him since Twitter, on Twitch. Sorry, because I used to love playing Destiny, and he did a lot of Destiny then.
Yeah.
He said, and it resonated with me, and he said, people never people will never notice the what was they said? People always notice the shine, but never notice will never remember the grind.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth, man. I've had people come here and ask me, "Hey, oh man, you blowing up so quick? All right, you've blown up." To me, I'm like, "Wait, blown up? First of all, what?" But again, there's other people that see you as a big. That this is another topic about big creators, small creators. I hate that topic. I think people are just content creators in general. We're
Right.
all equal. Some people have been doing it longer. Some people haven't. Somebody will look at you as a big streamer because this is probably their first time, and you average 10 viewers a stream. Somebody that just started is going to look at you as a big content creator. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But anyway, back to the subject. Here goes my ADHD again.
It's okay.
What was I saying?
The grind and shine.
The grind and shine that resonated, man. And that person, they're like, oh my god, how you do it so quickly? I'm like, I've been streaming and doing this for 6 years, almost 7. They're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, that's not your camera presence, the way you present on the microphone and doing certain things. That comes with time, man.
Yeah.
Some people want to jump in and buy a whole bunch of equipment right away. You know what I'm saying? And
If you have
stream
the
to
money to
0
do
people.
it, if you have the money to do it, do it. If you don't, like,
Yeah.
it's okay to take. Like, it didn't take me. It took me 2.5 years to get where I'm at right here with what I have.
Yeah,
You said you've been doing it for 6 years, and like, it's okay to take your time. Take it slow. Do your research on your equipment, on what you need, what you want to do, how you want to do
Yep.
it. But that goes along the same line with what kind of content you want to do. Like, I still to this day, I don't know what my niche is, and
It takes
this could be my
time.
niche.
This
Doing
is
this, and
yeah, right.
but it takes time, and you're gonna go through mental health situations trying to figure that out, and it's okay. But again, find your best friends in the streaming world as well as people in the real life, to be able to that supports you and can talk to you about it and have. Some of them may not even have knowledge, like, in real life. Like, I have a buddy at work that I talk to about this all the time. But like, yeah, my stream was kick-ass last night, or my stream was a little slow last night, and this and that. He doesn't really know much about the streaming world, but he supports me, and he's like, you know what, maybe you should try this, and or he's like, hey, dude, I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome, whatever.
Feels
So
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
you as long as you have people in your corner that can help kind of bring you back to earth and say, listen, you had this, and it's okay to have this too. It's gonna happen. You can't have you're never gonna always have that. It's same thing with life. Like like I was talking about me in wrestling, in football. Like, I had all this because of my athletic ability. But the moment I graduated, I had this because there's no sponsorships. There's no colleges looking out for me. There's nothing that
Oh, I
I
can
couldn't
relate
go
to
further.
that.
That, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
mental health, you go through it no matter what age you are, and it's just how you deal with it, and so, like, our next topic I wanted to bring up to kind of wrap us back over here was, how does your mental health affect you throughout your life, like daily, monthly, yearly, however you want to describe it.
Well, my mental health is it's not the best right now. And again, I'm transparent. This is why I do what I do with my anxiety. It's gotten worse as I've gotten older for some reason. The last 5 years, my I don't know if it's because of the way the world is going or whatever. What now is because I'm getting older. I guess you tend to worry more after you get older. When you're younger, you don't think about these things, and it's whatever you feel like you're untouchable, right? Um, but I've had big battles with my anxiety and mostly my ADHD. That's actually affected my relationship with my wife. She's gonna hate that I say this, but my wife is one of those people that don't communicate. Like, she's very to herself with a lot of things. It's hard for her just to communicate certain things. So she legit wrote me a letter. um, and I appreciated that though. Uh, Again, I'm transparent, guys. Um, and she was like, "Listen, you need to fix this ADHD problem of yours because it's affecting our relationship, um, and it has affected me as a content creator. It has affected me in general, and that kicks up my anxiety. So I have constant battles even right now with my anxiety. I'm taking medication, which has helped me, but I hate how it makes me feel because it makes me feel so tired and not motivated. I'm always like, um, but it's a real thing that happens, man. Uh,
Yeah.
it happens with me streaming. Sometimes when I'm playing with friends, or there's some people that just really want to, when I'm streaming, that you want to play and get sweaty. There's a lot of people that don't play with me. I adore them, but some of them are my mods, and they bring me down to earth, and I love that. This is why they're some of them are my mods, and they'll tell me the things that I don't want to hear. They will tell me. They're like, listen, Ocean, I love to play with you, but when you're live, you get distracted, and we're here fighting somebody, and I'm here doing this, I'm partying or whatever. Sometimes you need to tone it down and play the game and all this stuff.
Yeah,
And
and that's another thing that's really hard
yeah,
to kind of like balance. But at the same time, like it all depends on the situation too. Really, it really depends. Like I mean, if you're doing giveaways or if you're doing a party stream or you're doing subs for incentives and you can't necessarily ignore that to play the game, even though you're doing it with community members. Sometimes the community members also need to understand to include my mods understand this too. Like when I'm collabing, like it's gonna be about the collab. It's gonna be, but I will engage with chat as I can. Or if I'm
hmm
doing
hmm
giveaways and then, I'm doing community games at the same time, the community knows that like, hey, I'm gonna be probably engaging more with chat because people want to know about the giveaway or they want to know this. And then granted, I also still need to understand that I need to still split the delegation to my mods to explain some of that
yeah,
stuff too. And so like you got to remember, everyone's got to remember, even the new streamers got to remember, your stream is a production. You have to be able to allow those in place to manage your stream while you're doing whatever you're doing to make content, let them handle the chat. But you also have those viewers that want to engage with you,
right,
and like, and then you end up, I mean, and it's okay to lose viewers for not engaging with them. It's okay for that because if they're just there for your attention, they're not there for the right reasons in the first place. Um,
that's true. Yeah,
but
yeah,
at the same time, us as being live streamed, we still need to engage, and so, but then again, there are some people that don't engage in the community at all, and they've got thousands of viewers or they've got whatever may be the
yeah.
case. And but at the same time, I also understand that like when their chat just like look at Aiden Ross, 35,000 viewers, he's got his chat just flying by, and I'm like, I
Yeah,
went in
I
there
don't
one
know what I'll
time.
do with myself. I'll
hmm
die.
Yeah, I can't. Like I understand why he doesn't engage with everyone there because obviously everyone you can't engage with 35,000
It's
fucking people,
impossible. It's
right?
impossible.
But then you got people that are like us that have less than 75 viewers, and then our chat's not necessarily blowing up consistently all the time like that, but it's blowing
Yeah.
up, and so it's like it's hard to so like even like right now like I see chat a little bit and like I see some things and they're like, hey, pay attention. I'm like, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm looking at it right now myself. I'm like, I want to
I
respond, and
know, and so us by having this podcast, like it helps me kind of, and it's something that I learned too when I did it with my very first official one with Green Bay Kill. I was talking to chat while he was talking, and then so when I'm trying to edit down, I'm like, oh man, I was talking over him, and it's there, and I'm like, oh whatever. So
yes,
now, so like but it's part of like this. Like I've never done a podcast
that's
type
growth.
thing, and
That's
like
growth.
and I the only way you know that is by when you're editing your own videos or you're going over your videos and trying to figure out what you can do better. There, I identified that I fucked up, and hold on, like you said, up.
My,
I'm
my
sorry,
chat
late
is
censor.
my chat is trolling me right now. They like, if you don't respond to me, I'll unfollow you.
Well, it's funny. Last week when I was with Lauren, someone said, "Hey Dom, if you can see this wave," so I started waving, and then Lauren started waving.
That's hilarious. I saw that interview, man. That was
Yeah,
amazing, amazing.
yeah, that was
GG's.
yeah, man. It was. I had back to back great ones with Player Two Gaming the Sunday, and then Lauren the Monday afterwards. It was awesome. Um, but it's part of growth, and like and mental health is nothing but growth. You have to learn how to fight
Facts.
those demons, and you have to learn what helps calm you down and what helps you. Like for me, like I said, I just started running again, and it's nice because I haven't been able to do it for 3 years, and I've never been a runner. I've only been a sprinter, wrestling, football, baseball, whatever, and now that I'm running, like that actually helps me clear. Like when I was at school, like because the school I was at was really coursework intensive, a lot more than
Mm.
than I've been in a normal like army school. And by the end of the day, I'm like my brain is fried. I got cloudiness going on, and my buddy's like, let's just go for a run. I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap, but that's my body naturally saying no, I ain't going for a fucking run, or whatever. So I'm sitting down, getting ready to go take a nap, and I'm like, no, fuck that, I need to go run. So I went and ran. I came back, my mind, I don't have the headache. I'm not cloudy. I'm not stressed. I let it all out in the run, and like it's just for me that works. For others, it may be I don't know, playing tether. I don't know if you remember playing that game.
Wow, Tether.
Beating the
Holy
fuck out of that
moly.
ball while it goes around the pole, or it could just be cooking. It could be baking. It could be crocheting. It could be anything that you want to do to kind of just relax yourself and like, and then because at that point you can definitely start realizing that hey, these three things that are stressing me out aren't even in my control. Why am I even worried about it? Just let it rest, and then we'll focus on the things that you can control.
And just live in the now. Live in the now. It's really the only thing you have control. The past is
Right.
gone. The last 10 seconds is gone. Forget about it. Tomorrow you don't even know what can happen tomorrow. I can trip and something can happen to me. Then
Yep.
I'm gone.
The biggest thing that we kind of like, I think the biggest thing that we have control, but we don't have control over, like it is simultaneous, is our finances.
Yeah,
And that's the hugest. That's the hugest. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people that are on, in the suicidal ideations or in suicidal situations, is because they're like, what do I do? I can't feed my family. I can't keep their house over their heads, or I can't put clothes on their backs. And it's like I'm doing everything I can, but I'm only getting these many hours, or I'm capped out at this salary, or this and that. And then look at the full time streamers. I'm only, this was a bad month because the subs weren't as high as they were last month, and because they're lower this month, and I've, this and that, and then like, and some people quit full time streaming, they went back to a job, and like that's the only thing that you have control over, but you don't have control over. And everything else, I think you can decipher and split down the middle of what you have and what you don't have control over. But finances is one of the biggest things that causes a lot of mental situations. And just know, you guys, like you really need to sell yourself and your value. And I don't mean sell yourself like OnlyFans. I mean like sell yourself in regards to how you portray yourself to these companies, to these businesses, when you have the experience to do it. Your resume say it all. Chat GPT is great to fucking write a resume.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And really like oversell yourself, because that's how you're gonna get those positions, and then kick ass when you get there.
And if you do OnlyFans, then that's fine. You're not hurting anybody. Shout out to the OnlyFans creators, y'all.
Sorry,
do your thing, baby.
I
do your
make
thing.
That sound like I was. No, I'm definitely not against it. Listen.
No, I know that.
My link tree has Sergeant Jackson's feet finder on there, and it has my OnlyFans.
I saw that when I went to your link tree. I saw OnlyFans. I'm like, should I click on it? No, I'm just kidding.
No. You clicked on it, didn't you? Don't lie.
I did. I'm sorry.
It brings you back to Kick, by the way.
Oh wait, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So now you know I didn't click on it. No, but seriously, if you need to do OnlyFans, do it. And OnlyFans, really, it's not just what do you think. I follow. I'm really big into crypto, even before this. And there's a guy. His name is the Bearable Bull. He's a big guy on the XRP.
Oh yeah, he definitely has an OnlyFans.
He has an OnlyFans, but only for his key, moves and whatever tokens you want to talk about that is about to blow up, and you can use that for that. Yeah. But listen, you're not hurting anybody.
You also got like
puppies. Show your thing.
Yeah,
my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, people like I Got Puppies, who doesn't do nude. He just has he's well fit, and he's just shirtless. Like he showed a little like example of it on Twitter today.
Listen, I'm about to get in shape. You're gonna see my OnlyFans.
I know, right? There you go. And so like listen. You do you, boo boo. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. If you got what it takes and you can handle it, do it. If it makes you money, do it. Listen, if I wanted to do Feet Finder, I would do it. My feet are fucking ugly though. And
my feet are ashy as hell. I can clap and smoke whatever better than LeBron James claps with his hands.
I need some foot powder, man. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But I mean, like, so, like, and listen, there's some people that want some crusty ass feet, then they'll pay for it.
I ain't gonna lie.
But anyways, you do what you gotta do to survive and make that bag. It is what it is. Like I don't hate. It is what it is. People want to do what they want to do. Like I tell people about anything in the community, anything in the community, anything in the world. Like if it doesn't affect me, I don't care to be a part of the drama. I'm gonna love you for who you are, and
as long as you're happy and you're surviving, man, in a good way.
Listen, we're all humans. We all bleed blue, bleed red. I say bleed blue because I'm a Cowboys fan. But anyways.
Hey, I'm a Cowboys fan too.
Hey,
let's go!
They fucking kicked ass today.
Well, they did. I was so busy I didn't watch the game today.
I think it was
but
like
anyway,
33-10 or something like that.
Yes.
But that's some of the things that I do to overcome the demons that rear their heads. So that's is there anything you do besides I know you said you went and sought help and you got some medication. Is there anything outside of that you go and do besides hug your baby, because that's also a huge part of it as well?
My wife is my escape, but also she beats me up because she's not Puerto Rican, have Dominican. In terms of
she's not in chat anymore.
She's definitely in chat somewhere around there.
Well, if we don't hear from him tomorrow, someone might need to check up on him.
No, and a lot of things that I do as a creator, you mean? So
either way,
what I do is I hide my viewership. I don't look at my viewer. I don't know how many people are here right now, for example. That really can deter you, good and bad. Because if you have a lower viewer count than what you're used to, you're gonna start questioning yourself. Now, if you get rated by like Michael Jordan or whatever, for example, he doesn't stream, but a
Drake.
big time creator, or let's say Doctor Disrespect rates you see these tomato, it's gonna get me nervous and going crazy because I'm not used to that. So I just
Yeah.
hide it, and it's just like numbers later on. I did the mistake at first with Kick, with the high and all this stuff, and everybody. So I was looking at I had my viewership back up. That's one rule I always had since I started. Troy HD was a good friend of mine, who motivated me, inspired me to stream since the beginning. He taught me that lesson. He's like, dude, just hide your viewers, man, and just put your head down, and sure enough, I was just having fun, not paying attention to it. Yes, it's important to view certain metrics to deal with companies and whatever, and have certain goals, but when you're live streaming, hide those numbers, hide those viewerships, because it can definitely mess with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one thing that I do. Another thing that I do is on every single stream before when I'm in my just chatting, in my starting soon, I always have a motivational talk speech. I use a lot of Motiversity. I love Eric Thomas, Coach Payne. I like all those kind of guys. Eckhart Tolle. I mean,
Like
Eckhart Tolle,
affirmations.
Alan Watts. Huh?
Like affirmations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always play it because I don't care how big I get or whatever it is. I will always get nervous to hit that goal line. I'm always nervous. You set these expectations. That helps me. And also, there was somebody one day where I was just in my starting student. I was playing a video. They DM'd me and thanked me because they were having an issue. They were thinking bad thoughts at that moment, and they came into my channel and they heard that video and they thanked me for it. And who knows? I might have saved this person's life. You never know who's listening and just
Yeah.
lurking.
Yep.
So those are one of the things. That's why I always play a motivational video at the beginning of my stream.
Yeah, I don't think I get nervous when I don't have anything planned, like a special event or anything. Like I get nervous when I have something planned because I want it to do so well and I want to do such
Yeah.
great things and I want to do this and that and when I know I'm just going live to hang out with the community or play games with them or I don't really have anything like special going on that evening, like I'm not nervous to go live. But I would say
I
that's
get
that.
nervous.
I would say that's 50. I'd say that's a 50% lie because I do get nervous because I don't know who's going to show up.
Exactly.
But but I'm more nervous when I have events going on. Like like today, I was nervous today because we have
Oh,
this
I
going
was.
on. Like
You know how many times I farted, but while we were, getting prepared, I had to let it out, man. I had to let it out. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and what's crazy is like I'm nervous on every one of these podcasts, even though I say an unofficial. Only the reason why I say unofficial is because I didn't have it named. And so now it's official because I have it named. It's the DomCast, right? So, but when I did this, the first time I did this was with Don Rican, and it was kind of like a spur of the moment type of thing in the middle of our content with games, and we just kind of like just shut the game off, and we went to our just chatting stream. We just started talking about this, and then I got nervous because I started shooting my shot with a bunch of different creators, and I hit up with Testy, and Testy's like, "Yeah, I'll do it," whatever, and then like I got super nervous with that, and like even with
Yeah.
Green Bay Kill. I don't know if anybody knows who Green Bay Kill is. He's not
I don't know who that is.
he was a
No.
Facebook partner, and then he went to Twitch, and then he's at Kick, and he's like multi-streaming, and he's on TikTok, and
Right.
great dude. He's young. He's like 25 years old. He's a young kid. He made it. He made a really good thing going on in Facebook, and even then, like he was one of my first streamers that I really like resonated with because he was a family guy. He had his wife and his kid on his stream quite a bit, and it was just kind of something that I like admired, and uh, and then so we went and did his, and then I got Player 2 Gaming to confirm, and then I got Lauren Shea, and then you finally confirmed because I know in the first time when we first talked about this, you're like, oh, I don't really know, and you're nervous
I
about
had
it,
so
and
much going on.
yeah, and
Yeah. Oh, I think you asked me at the same time where I was going through that situation.
oh, that's probably what it was, yeah, and so
Yep.
I understand, like, and so and that's the thing is like I know there's somebody else I talked to, and then like they're going through some things that are going right now, and like I told you, I said it's okay. Like take your time. Let me know when you're ready. Like because I'm not gonna sit there and force it, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna sit
Yeah.
there and make you feel guilty. Like you're not. Oh, you're not gonna be on my podcast. What the fuck? You're too big for me. Like no, fuck that. Like I'm not even like I'm down to earth. I'm chill, and I understand, and I appreciate even just taking your time to respond to tell me either no or yes or hey, let's reschedule it for a later date and this and that.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, I think reached out and said maybe November, October, or November, December timeframe, kind of give you a range so that way you can kind of plan better because I'm not. I understand everyone's busy and your time is valuable,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it, and I'm honored to have you here in the first place. Um,
I'm honored to be even asked to be thought of, Dom. Seriously, man.
Well,
I haven't done
we
one
had
of
that
these in a
deep
long
conversation
time.
when I went into your stream after that kind of like the community. I wouldn't say interview, but like a community for the Hispanic Heritage Month that you guys had
Right.
with Lobo. And so I went to your chat the next day, and like you're right. You definitely have the vibes, man. You got it going on. You're really good with people, and I just resonated with it. And not only that, the fact that we both did stack up. The fact that you have a
That was
background
awesome.
knowledge of veterans and how to help them and stuff like that, it just really resonated with me. And so it
And my
was.
nephew's autistic, by the way.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You did say that. Yeah. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Who's gonna
So
be
there's
staying with me
and
the
then
next
and
few
now we find
weekends.
out you're a Cowboys fan. So I think we're like.
Wait a minute, what's going on here?
I think now we're stepbrothers. We're we got. Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
And so it's awesome, man. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of this industry is that you find like-minded
Right.
people like you and I, and and then you also find people that are just fucking shitty, and it's unfortunate. But let's be honest, guys. There are shitty people out there. No matter what you do, no matter where you
Man.
go, there like we can't deny that there's shitty fucking people out there that have no conscience, and it's unfortunate.
It's sad. Mental health is running rampant, man. It's running rampant right now, and it's only getting worse and worse because again, accessibility, social media, they're hiding behind a camera, so things just get blurred out. It's crazy right now. Certainly after the
Yeah.
pandemic,
Yep.
nuts. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad at the same time, but at the same time, you have to learn how to,
Manage it.
block it
Mhm.
and just go about your business. Because at the end of the day, man, you only have control of yourself and what you have control of for you.
Yep.
So it's
It's like yeah.
and my
It's go ahead.
yeah, I'm just thinking how crazy social media has gotten. It's been insane. Certainly for like what's happening with the female content creators as well. So shout out
Yep.
to those female creators who put themselves out there, man, and whatever it is that you do, what you do. I bow down to you guys because you have to deal with twice, maybe three times of the issues that us men go through, or the LGBTQ community has to go through. You know what I'm saying? So you have to bow down to that, man.
Right.
But yeah, man, and you hit in the nail, like in terms of purpose. Like this is who I am. Like I refound my purpose through streaming. When I first started streaming, it's like I now know what my purpose is. My purpose is meeting people, and those people that I meet, bring them together with other people with that same common denominator.
Yep.
Simple. I lost that when I started working with my youth. I used to work for a nonprofit organization as a young father's advocate, and I used to work with teenagers, their underserved populations. And as soon as I had to leave, because when you work for nonprofits, they don't get the money, they don't get these grants or support, you're done. I spent like 6 months without getting paid, and me and my mom worked for the same organization, different programs, and it hit double. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to leave, and I ended up working in the hospital, whatever. But I lost my contact with my youth. You know what I'm saying? They still
Yeah.
reach out to me. They see me in the middle of the street. Hey, Ocean, what's up? They'll call me Ocean. They call me by my real name, but what's up? They're grown and they're like, oh, thank you for teaching me how to do this PowerPoint, all this stuff, and getting me out the streets. For that summer, it was summer youth employment, so it was only for like 2 months.
Right.
But I lost that. I lost that reach, and I've always missed that. And streaming gave me that again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Basketball was my life at one point too. Basketball was my life, and I lost. I have a scholarship when my dad passed, and then my grandma passed. My grandma passed first. She died in my arms at the age of 15. I was by myself at home, and it's like my first situation finding somebody that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
That has moved on, and that took a toll. I was a teenager. I hung out with the wrong crowds. I was pretty good at basketball, so I used to go. They used to take me everywhere to play, and then they used to take us out clubbing, and I didn't have to, get ID'd.
This is in New York, right?
New York, yeah.
Was that around the time like N1 was like a big thing, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right before that, though, before Anglo blew up.
Okay.
I'm old, remember?
Yeah.
Quiet.
I was just wondering because I just saw that documentary on HBO like a couple months
That's
ago.
a deep documentary.
It is.
I know Shane. Shane's one of the guys. Shane is a good friend of mine.
Oh wow.
And it's But anyway, basketball was my life. I've been playing since 8 years old. You can freaking see it in my hands. My hands are all messed up and my toes. But I made the wrong decisions at the time just because of being rebellious. My dad had passed. My grandma had passed. Hung out with the wrong crew. And I made stupid decisions and I lost it. And I never had a sense of not that I didn't have a sense of purpose. I was trying to find my identity of who I was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know who I was until then I got into acting, and that didn't work out because of, certain commercial or agencies were like fake, and they just wanted you to pay for headshots and
Yeah.
not work for you and take your money. And then,
Well, headshots are better
then I
than
went on,
headshots are better
huh?
than back shots sometimes, depending on.
But yeah, man, that was a really tough road. And then life went on, and then next thing you know, I was working. I work in healthcare. I wanted to be a PT, physical therapist
Yeah,
for
yeah.
cardiac rehab. Because I still want to involve sports, but cardiac rehab was close to me because my grandma died of a heart attack,
Oh wow.
so that was close to me.
The whole grandma passing in your arms, it resonates with me. She didn't pass. My grandma just recently passed away in July,
I'm
and
sorry to hear that, man.
no, it's all good, man. Like it was just crazy because one, she had a rule: kids can't play video games, and we're in the Nintendo Super Nintendo era.
Oh,
And she said kids can't play games until they're like 7 or 8 years old. Well, I was the oldest grandchild or grandson, and she let me play at age 4. And she,
wow.
we played Zelda: Link to the Past, and that was like my first game I ever beat at age 4. And throughout my life, she was always there for me. We lived with
That
her
was
for
my
quite a
first
bit.
Zelda, my first Zelda ever, my favorite,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah,
That was the
yeah.
golden tape,
Oh
wasn't
my
it?
goodness, yeah,
Yep.
oh yeah. And she was always there for me, even like when I went basic training and stuff like that. Like the only person I really called was her, and she'd always answer. Everyone else, they're busy. It is what it is. But she would always answer, and she was always there for me. And no matter what happened, despite all the drama we had or that our family had with her and everything that was going on, if we needed a place to stay, no matter how big or small her place was, she'd always find room. She'd give up her room. She'd always make fresh tortillas. She'd
Mm,
make tamales, pozole, menudo. She'd make all kinds of things for us. And
damn,
it
I'm
was just
jealous.
crazy. So July, I had to travel to Arizona for it was like it was like our year anniversary from when we moved away from Arizona, away from our family. So we went back to visit, and I didn't really have a lot of time because I had to be back 6 days later. My kids and my wife were going to stay there for the whole month, but I had to be back for the military because I had our annual training, our 2 weeks or our week, because we split it up. We split our 2 weeks up in a week increments.
Right.
And so I had to be back for work because my commander didn't want me to take because I had already taken time off from schools and then other leave and or vacation time, and so I had to come back and like so that 6 days that I had, my wife's family wanted us to go to California too, and so I'm like, man, I had to manage my time. I was stressing out. I was trying to figure it out, and so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go meet up with her for breakfast. My wife and my oldest one went with her family to California. Me and my youngest one went with my grandma's, and then I drove up to California afterwards, and and we're just talking there, and she had gone through. She wasn't supposed to be alive around now because like 2 years ago, I think it was around the time I started streaming. She had stage 4 kidney failure, and
Wow.
then she had 2 strokes at the same time. And luckily, they were able to save her and get her stable and stuff like that. But they told us that because of her stage 4 kidney failure, she also may develop the kidney disease,
Kidney disease. Yeah.
and she may not even make it past 6 months. Well, 2 years later, she
Thanks.
was a strong, stubborn mule and just kept freaking going. And so then July, so I visited her. It was July, I want to say 3rd or 4th, and she was talking about going to see the Mario Brothers. I'm like, well, I said let me figure out if I have time to do that while I'm going because I have to go to California. I got other plans, this and that, and like to this day, like I hurt for her, and I kind of hate the fact that I didn't make time for her to do that because I had just talked to her about taking her. I took my in-law, my wife's parents to the movies the night before to go see the new Indiana Jones movie.
Right. Which I heard was fantastic.
Oh, it was
But,
great, dude. It was awesome. And it was the first time they've been in a movie theater in like 30 years.
wow.
They don't really get out very much, so my wife was even surprised that we even got them to go. And so then when I told my grandma about that, 'cause she was asking about what I've been doing, and whatever, and again, I'm transparent, and like I don't care what if the people are hurt about what I do, and they're mad because I didn't do it with them. Like I'm sorry, but like it is what it is. But for my grandma,
Right.
I felt bad because I wanted to take her because like Super Mario obviously is a big thing because that's when Super Nintendo was really out for Mario. Like that's really Nintendo was Super Mario, and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and so I told her, I said, well, let me see what I can do. If I have time, I'll call you, whatever. And then so I had it, but I didn't have time to do anything because we had got back. We ended up staying in California another day later, and I had to fly back that Friday. And then 2 weeks later, I get a phone call saying that she's in a coma and she's been in a coma for 6 days. I can't, so I had to fly back.
Oh man.
and I flew back. I didn't even see my family. My family was still there. I didn't even. I went straight to. They ended up transferring to hospice, which I already knew it was their last leg.
One's hospice. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So I flew in. I got there around like noon. Um, that's the beauty of flying from East Coast to West Coast. But
Yikes.
um, and I was there from noon until I want to say about 3 p.m. the next day. So I was there for 25 plus hours. I stayed the night in her room with her. Um, because I wanted to be there for her when she passed, and and I found out, like, and this is what you learn too. Hospice personnel, they're not there to be honest with you. They're there to make you feel comfortable, along with
Just to be comfortable
the
so you
patient.
can. Yep.
And so when we kept asking, because she was like, it was crazy. That night was crazy, and they're like, oh yeah, no, she's got maybe like 2 more days, and this and this and that, and like they're trying to make us feel comfortable. And so the moment I left at 3 o'clock the next day, I went because my wife's sister's birthday was that day,
Wow.
and they're getting ready to do a birthday party. And I didn't want them to change their plans or anything. I wanted them to keep doing it as usual. And I went over there to try to help celebrate and help set up whatever. I got there, I got to the house about an hour later, 20 minutes in, I get the phone call or the text message she passed. I was like, fuck,
Hmm.
man. Like it sucks, man. Like she didn't die in my arms, but like it just sucks because I was trying to be there for her, and the way she was been there for me, and like I hold that to myself, and then I find out later on from my aunt that she was also, my grandma was also asking her to take her to go see the Super Mario Brothers, and she didn't take her because of whatever
Wow.
was going on.
Oh
And I'm
man.
like, so like it made me feel worse. And I'm like, man, so grief is a bitch, survivor's guilt is a bitch, and that causes a lot of mental health situations as well.
Absolutely.
Survivor's guilt is a pain in the ass. And just so you guys know, if anyone's ever dealt with it, or if you haven't dealt with it, just know that when something tragic happens in your life and you feel like you're at blame for something for it, understand that it's not your fault. And that's what survivor's guilt is you basically feel like you're at fault. You could have done something better. You could have done something more, and it's not your fault. You need to understand that, like, it happened and it's okay. And there's nothing you can, again, something that's out of your control. It's not your
Yeah,
fault, and it's okay.
it's not. Yep. Because people can spend years and years with that guilt um and are deteriorating, and they're deteriorating for no, not that I'm saying not for no reason, but at the end of the day, it's just things you cannot have control of. It's
Right.
life. Things happen, right? To deal with my situation, my grandma, like we weren't expecting her to pass. She was old. She was 82. Um, and I feel like she knew she was, because that day she showered on herself on her own. She at the time she had a home health aide, and home health had to bathe her, or I had to help. She had like a tray in front of her so she can pee, because she was peeing herself. She was old. You know, um, I wasn't expecting it. Nobody was home. I woke up and I just found her there, and you know what I'm saying. I'll never forget that. But I came to terms many years later, like uh, just focus on the good memories. This is how you keep these
Yeah.
people alive. One of the movies that really made me cry and hit me hard. It's funny. It was one of my favorite. Actually, we had low key one of my favorite movies, an animated series called Coco,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and it's basically them saying that when your loved ones pass away, they're once their memory's gone, that's when they really go.
Right.
If you stop talking about them to your children, their legacy, all that stuff, that's when they really go and they disappear.
Yeah. I don't really have a picture of my grandma, but I have her ashes. I got a little jar of ashes that are actually
Beautiful.
here every day with me. So she's
Yeah,
she's over
and
here watching me, and like, I have a voicemail of her from January. It's not the
wow,
best voicemail. I mean, it's not bad, but it's like it's
beautiful.
just her saying I'm coming out of the hospital because she was in the hospital at the time. And
Yeah,
but I have something of her that I can hear her voice still, and I have the pictures all over my Twitter, and I have pictures of her and stuff like that. So you're right. I mean, that's a great example of a great freaking Disney movie that
it's
explains exactly what people go through, and the depression and the celebratory parts of life and death, and the struggles that people fight and go through, trying to deal with, like, what's next, what's going on afterwards, like,
right.
well,
Yeah,
and that's great, man. That's awesome.
got emotional again, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's good that we talk about this. These things, it's okay to talk about it, man. It's okay to be vulnerable, to be emotional. Like I cry, and that's who I am. If I need to cry in the live stream, I cry. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's who I am, and it's okay to do that. It's just life is crazy. People are killing each other, and so much happening in this world. Like we sometimes have to take a step back and enjoy some positive environments, and also having the tough conversations and letting people know, like Sausage in my chat is going through depression. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine. You're not. We all going through that. I'm going through depression right now. Like we all go through it, man. You're not alone. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I posted on the Twitter earlier when we were going live is like, everyone's going through it. You're not alone. You just got to reach out. And whether it's reaching out to a good friend of yours, a good family member of yours, or seeking help through professional means, and it's okay. It's not terrible. It's not a bad thing like it used to be in the 80s and 90s, especially in corporate America where,
yeah,
I think what movie was it? There was a movie I recently where like the main character was like a lead, like a CEO or somebody in like the leadership, and like he had to see a psychologist, but he was so afraid that it got out that he would lose his position or he would lose, like,
right,
because in the 80s and 90s, that's the thing, is like you had to, if you're a man and you were a big time person, and like basically they shunned you,
uh
and that's the thing, and that's kind of
nice.
what we kind of brought up with Lauren last week with like you hit the topic earlier, men's vulnerabilities. And I told her that I've seen some TikToks over the last year or so of other women, like wives, basically having a very good deep message about like what her husband goes through, and like how she knows that he's deep down inside holding everything in and just being strong on the outside because of how we were built, how we were raised, and not letting things get to us. And to be honest, I love that because we do need to be more open about our feelings.
Of
Now, do we
course,
have to
yeah.
be out in the open in the public with it? No. We still need to be that strong person. All right, let's get to the last topic, which is the most important topic I feel, and it's the hardest one to talk about. And it's this is where the triggering part is. So unfortunately, I'm sorry if you guys are going to be triggered by this question, or Ocean, if you might get triggered by it. But this is the point of this podcast, is to be vulnerable, to be
Going for it. I'm
overwhelmed
here for
with
it.
a tough topic, to make it more comfortable for others to talk about it. So the question I have for you is: do you have experience with suicidal situations, whether it's ideations, attempts, whether it's with yourself, a friend, or a family member, or even a community member that you don't have to name names, obviously, but have you ever had any of that? And walk me through the steps if you have, and if you haven't, it's okay.
I have many times. Not for me, not me. Thank goodness. And I've been lucky. I just want to say that because can happen to any of us. But it did happen recently. The most recent one was one of my friends. His name is Dion, and again, it's triggering. I don't want to say triggering. I don't like saying that. It's just still grieving, and it shocked us. He's a person. He's just like me. He was always making jokes, always laughing. You would never know. Always be careful for those who are always laughing and smiling. You barely see them showing, any sort of, depression. Sometimes the ones who laugh, smile are the ones you need to really check up on. And one day he just overdosed. It was about 2 or 3 months. That was about 3 months ago. He was my age. We grew up together in the same neighborhood. We went to the same elementary school. Left the daughter. Had just had a baby. So baby was a few months, and out of nowhere, they just found him in his apartment. He overdosed on meds, on drugs.
Sorry, I'm sorry,
And this
man.
is a kid, and yeah, and this is a kid that he did weed. That's really that he was really known for. Nobody really knew what he was going for, and everybody was shocked that this happened. And this is the most recent one was him. So rest in peace, Dion. I love you, man. And it was hard. I hadn't seen him for years. And then obviously the last time I saw him was in his coffin. There's another situation, another male in the community who I feel like I don't know if I want to say this, but society has failed a lot of people because of resources, because of all these things, or because of availability of the resource that they can get, or just a stigma, right? That males specifically go through to remain strong or whatever, whatnot. Who knows what he was going through? Nobody knew anything. He never showed any signs of nothing. He was just
Yeah.
happy rapping. He would love rapping, making jokes. This is one of the guys I played Donkey Kong Country with in one of my friend's house. We didn't have streaming. We had, hey, what are you doing Saturday at school? We're gonna go to your house because you got the new console. We would all sit down in one room and play video games and take turns in Donkey Kong Country.
Remember those
And
days?
it was him.
Oh man.
So, and I'm happy to. I've gone through a lot of these pains that I'm comfortable to talk to about this. Have some very close family that has, told me certain trigger words that I get concerned. Um, young, 16, 11 years old, where they've mentioned that they don't want to live. They're very close to me, and I've been having that actually recently. So my nephew's actually gonna come stay with me in the next few weeks, just to stay away from like a toxic situation. And he's
Yeah.
autistic, but he's high functioning. Oh, before I forget, I have the issue, Dom. If you do something for Autism Awareness a month, please let me know in April.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
definitely. Let's
Judo also would love to. Yeah,
yeah, let's link up
I'm
for
happy to
April.
talk.
I'm down to let's start the planning process probably next month or something.
I always wanted to do that. So
Mm,
I know Judo does too, because he works with kids with autism
awesome.
for work. He teaches. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Maybe we can do
that was my last.
maybe we can do another Warzone tournament or something like that, raising funds for autism in April.
Whatever case may be, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I mean,
I just want to do something on that. It really would, be mean a lot to me.
yeah. No, definitely.
Any which way, that was my recent experience. Depression go through my family.
I'm blessed to be able to have this platform, to be able to sit down with you and others and be able to do this, or have the opportunity to take that initiative to have these conversations. Because if I didn't stream, obviously we wouldn't be here. And if I didn't figure my way around the ins and outs of
You
streaming
definitely
and
got to
getting to
praise
where I'm
God,
at
man.
today, but like I said, I'm thankful that I'm at the point in my career in this industry that people are seeing me for what I'm doing, and they're accepting
Right.
things like this. And I applaud you for coming on here and speaking your truths and speaking your experiences and being uncomfortable, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's the biggest thing in life that people don't understand, that it's okay to be uncomfortable, but try to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where you're going to see growth. That's where you're going to learn. That's where you're going to do better and succeed. And
Right.
for me, it's just, especially in the short period of time of me starting this and getting other creators and yourself, and I got future things lined up. It's amazing, because I don't think I would be here without the community, without meeting people like you, Loba, Don Rican, Player Two, Lauren, all these other amazing creators that have blessed me with their responses, with their time, with their energy, and it's just amazing that I'm able to do that for you guys. Yeah,
Luckily, I thank God above all else. Above all else is God, man, for me. And I thank God that I have a job, and I don't go as soon as I get whatever pay. I save it. I have it there for things that I want to do, giveaways or whatever, whatnot, or
right.
pay some bills. But I don't. And this is something we should definitely talk about: is streamers going full time. They get a high, they quit their jobs, and I've seen it happen forever. And next thing you know, things don't go well and whatever. People got to think about is healthcare, number one, health insurance. You got to think about retirement, right? Be smart, have an LLC, you know, as a content creator, protect your brand. You know what I'm saying? So those are things you got to think about.
No, definitely. Like, I mean, I think Lauren
People
touched on
definitely get caught in that hype, man.
Lauren
And
touched on it last week about how she became a full time creator recently, because her certifications in behavioral health therapy didn't come through, and it takes 6 weeks for them to recertify, and something
wow,
there's some other issues that are going on, so she lost her job because of that, and so
wow.
that's why she was forced into. I thought she was like moving to full time content creator. I didn't realize that there were some other issues behind it, and so she opened up about it last week, and she had mentioned that, and I applaud her for staying strong and being positive, and not letting herself like sit stagnant or fall in that
Yeah.
dark hole of depression of like, what the fuck is going to happen now, this and that.
Yeah, man.
She's just moving forward and saying, listen, I'm going to go full time for now until I can get my job back, or until something comes up, and then but at least she has a plan, and she understands like full time's not going to be her everything,
And,
and so
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Have different sources. Invest your money. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Mhm.
Invest, guys. Like, try to, if it could be $20, invest it. You know what I mean? And think about taxes. Save some for taxes, because people get these subs and donations and all this stuff, and they're in the hype. They go shopping or whatever. Do you have bills? And then Uncle Sam comes at the end of the year and be like, "Hey, you owe us this money," and people have lost their home because of that. I've seen it happen. They had to move out of their apartment and move back to mom. Luckily, they had that. I, you could be successful in this, but you got to be smart. Like, the taxes will f you in the booty cheeks if you don't think smart. Certainly here with this hype with Kick. With 95 to 5, you get more money because all this stuff. You start seeing it, you start doing this, buying this and this and that, and next thing you know, January comes and you're like, listen,
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's the other topic is, or I guess nothing on our list, but this is
Anyway,
what I
this
was
is
going to bring
mental
up.
health, but yeah, this is
Yeah,
part of it.
well, I
So
mean, it's part of it. So like you bring it up, like then January comes around, right? But what's going on right now? All the holidays. So I think, and I don't, and like I said, I'm not a professional at this, and haven't looked up stats, but I know for a fact that, at least in the military side of things, because military veterans are all over the world, and a lot of them. So I don't know if not everyone realizes this, that sometimes when they're not deployed, but they're like in Germany or they're in Italy or excuse me, in South Korea or some of these other countries that aren't like at war with anybody or it's not a combat zone, they get told to be over there two different ways. Either they're accompanied or unaccompanied. And what that means
right,
is that if they're accompanied, that means their family can go in. They're going to be provided house and board or room and board and stuff like
room
that.
and board. Yeah,
But then unaccompanied means that they have to go by themselves, but they have to leave their family back home. So regardless of the situation, if they're overseas for deployments or accompanied or unaccompanied, they're away from family. And what's the time of year that everyone loves to be around family besides like the normal
yeah.
holidays?
In these times of the
Thanksgiving,
year,
Christmas,
it's
and
tough. A lot of
suicide
people.
rates go up,
Yep.
or the risk increases. And so, I bring up veterans because obviously I'm a veteran myself. But it's not just them. Like corporate America, like you got people that are traveling overseas for jobs and employment, and you got contractors. You
Yeah.
got different people that are over there for the
And
good of the nation
innovation.
or good of the company
Yeah.
or whatever may be the case,
It's
and they're depressed because they can't go home.
Well, and it's because the innovation is getting pushed out of the U.S. because
Yep.
of the SEC or whatever. Whatever. That's another subject for another
Yeah.
day. But
And
yeah,
so this time of year, man, if you have family that's overseas, if you have a brother, sister, cousin, friend, whoever that's overseas, make sure you call them. Call them, check up on them. One of the other biggest messages that I want to do, to kind of like end end the podcast a little bit or get it to that point, is what I always bring up with everyone is if they're on your mind, call them. Don't text them.
yes,
Call them. If they're on your mind, that's for a reason. Whatever religion you believe in, whatever faith you believe in, whatever ultimate power you believe in, there's a reason why you're thinking about them. Call them. Don't text them. Don't DM them. Call them. If you don't have their
it's God.
DMs, obviously, I mean, if you don't have their
It's
number, then
God
obviously
telling you
DM them. But
something.
yeah,
It's
that something's telling you like you need to call them because we can be someone's silent angel, and that's what I like to use because I don't know if everyone knows who Pac-Man is. Um, he was a huge
yeah,
Twitch streamer. He's at 1,200 plus days streaming, and he's a great guy. He's a good content creator. But he had talked about how in 2015 he almost committed suicide because of whatever his story was. But he had a silent angel who contacted him or had shown um, that they cared, and that silent angel helped him bring him out of the darkness, and he's here today doing what he's doing. And I just love that term that he used. And so we can be someone's silent angel without even knowing it. But if you call somebody that you're thinking about, that you could be their silent angel without even knowing it, and they may not tell you. But here's the thing: if someone's going through it and they're already planning it, they're trying to get trying to plan it out what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. And let's say you happen to think about that person, you call them that day that they're planning on doing it.
yeah.
That might jog that might stagger them, and then they won't even do it. So we are in a culture of DMs, text messaging, Twitter feeds, posting stuff about people. Listen, call them if you're thinking about it, man. Just call them. If you don't have their numbers, then obviously you do what you can to get a hold of them and find out what's going on. Obviously, if the conversation goes to that point where you're starting to pick up, I can't even think of the words now. So risk factors and warning signs. Something's changed with them or something's going on that's like concerning. It's okay to just straight up say, "Are you planning on killing yourself?" Because that's going to help stagger them as well and thinking like, "Holy shit, they figured it out," or like, "Hey, holy crap, they really care that they noticed," right?
Actually, he needs to vent this, right? Is why I gotta go play with him. OceanrGatsby, gotcha. Dedicated, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of all of you guys. I'm proud of you, Korean. I'm proud of you, Sausage. Whoever's going through whatever mental health, I'm proud of you. Seek help, man. You know, there's a lot of applications that can help you for anxiety, mental health. One app that really helped me out was I get affirmations every morning, and it's called Headspace. I have it right here on my phone. It's called Headspace.
Oh
I
my
got
goodness,
Headspace,
dude.
I got therapy, and I had to find a new therapist actually. And just be and be in the moment, man. Be in the moment. Appreciate life in general at that moment. We don't know what happens tomorrow. The past is gone, man. The past creates depression. The future creates anxiety. I'm an anxiety bug, and I've come a long way, but it's a lot, man. And again, New York, thank you for doing that. Just being present and hanging out with us and streaming, even playing video games, I think for me is enough. I appreciate you, man. I'm blessed, to have a job, my health, all this stuff. But I thank you guys. Go love on Dom, man. He's the one that's doing the hard work here. This is perfect timing, given how much hate is going around with streamers and this jealousy. I stay away from all that, man. I'm happy with my little community here, my little big community. You guys are big in my heart. Again, that's my biggest partnership, my biggest verification is my community, man.
It's a blessing to be here tonight with my boy Ocean. I'm glad he reached out after he went through what he was going through and is comfortable enough to be here. I'm honored, blessed, and I'm glad that we were able to do this tonight.
I'm so lucky to be here. Thank you for even thinking of me. I seriously, again, I'm sorry at the time I couldn't accept because I didn't want to fail you. I didn't want to. I don't like committing to something that I just wasn't in the headspace. I was going through really deep anxiety to the point where I just wanted to check myself in.
I'm sure that message helped though. Like, I mean, because
yeah, a lot of people reached out to me in my DMs, and
yeah.
I'm so proud. I'm so happy for a lot of the creators that reached out to me after. I got some bad messages, but I got more good, and I should have focused on that. But it just set me out for a whirlwind of anxiety where I locked myself in. I even started neglecting my wife, even my own baby. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I had my mindset of quitting streaming. Seriously, I just didn't want to do it.
Hey, we're here today. To more, to the future.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to my community for doing that. Cheers. Sorry, man.
No, it's okay. Be love, be brave, be strong, brother.
Let's go. You're one of those people, Big Sly. Thank you. Let me tell you, the internet is savage, man. It's crazy, but it also could do amazing things that like what's happening right now. Hold on to those things. Cheers.
And by the way, this bourbon, really good.
You're gonna have to send me that info.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where were we?
I love what's going on right now. I love this. I mean, you call it what you want. It's still vibes. And this is what I wanted to do. Is I wanted us to be vulnerable. I wanted us to get emotional. I wanted us to shed some tears. This is where I wanted to be at with these podcasts, because I want people to see us for who we are as humans and not people that are just in front of a camera trying to put a show on. Because that's not all we are. We are humans. We are still people that care, that have feelings, that have issues that we have to deal with amongst ourselves that we don't necessarily put on the camera all the time. And so thank you for that, and thank you for opening up. Thank you for everything, man. I appreciate you more than you know. Like I said, I was talking to your community earlier when you went to go get a shot. Your community has been blessing me every time I go in there. Everyone's talking to me. Everyone accepts me in there. But thank you again for all this, man. This is. I mean, every podcast, we raise the bar. We raise the bar, but man, and thank you so much for that, man. Appreciate
thank you for being genuine. Don't change. Always focus on the now. Whenever you feel that rut, that creator, that creator's block again, go back to something. It could be a month old. Do that. Focus on, like I tell people, and I had this video that went crazy. Wasn't even expecting it. It's something that I said during a stream one day, and it was about viewers. And it was about the zeroed viewer, and those zeros. I went through months and months with a zeroed viewer. It's about the zero viewer. Those are probably one of the best moments and teaching moments of my life. Having that zero viewer. I always call that zero viewer the most important viewer of your streaming career, because that's you yourself looking at yourself, working on yourself. And, and that's the person that creates who you are as a content creator. So that zero viewer, love it, appreciate it. And that's the viewer that will always be that viewer there. That zero will never go away. It will always be there. And that's you working on yourself.
I call it
1v1 yourself.
Yep. I call it your number one fan. People like to self-proclaim it, and I get it. And it's a pride. It's being proud of being that number one fan for somebody. But the number one fan is the person that you see in the mirror, person that you see back on OBS in that camera. And if you can't be your own number one fan, then nobody can. And it's going to be hard for you to succeed that way. So believe in yourself, keep the confidence up. understand that you aren't alone in anything that you do.
Dom, thank you guys. Go follow Dom Dater, man. Again, thanks to Loba, because this would not happen without that.
No.
Appreciate you. Go check him out, man. He's wholesome dude and fun to watch and has a big heart, man. Thank you. You gave me my first podcast interview on Kick. And I'll never forget it.
Let's go, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hey, go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Let's go. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Can I get a Sarah? Go. Peace, man.